If everybody find their landing spot, we're going to get started. Sitting up here today, I feel like a little bit of nostalgic from the Harris Chain Restoration Council. Long ways and a long time since then. So we're going to call to order the legislative delegation in Lake County. This morning, the invocation will be presented to us by Michael Holland.
Thank you, delegation, for allowing me to do this morning. If you all would bow your heads in prayer with me. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us and blessing us to be born and to live in a county such as Lake County. All the beauty that you have bestowed on this county and the leadership that you have here. Father, we ask that you speak through each one of us today, that you give us wisdom, because you said if we ask for wisdom, you will grant that to us. Father, let us make the right decisions for this county, for this state, to make it the best that it can be. We thank you again for this day, and we thank you for this delegation and every person represented here today. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And the pledge will be presented to us by Representative Taylor Yarkowski.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I see a lot of elected officials here today. I just want to welcome all of you here. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm just going to say it like that, group everybody together. I'm sure you'll be coming to the podium to speak about your issues and concerns this morning. So we have a full list of things to go over today, a full agenda. So be mindful of people's time. Be mindful of the subjects we talk about today. Someone's already talked about your subject and addressed it. Be assured we're here, we're listening. On the other hand, the four of us up here, I think I could speak for all four of us that if you have any concerns beyond, and this is a short glimpse or a window of opportunity to get your concerns on record today so that we can work on those issues as committee weeks start and delegation or the session starts. But know that we have dedicated time and efforts to work on issues that all of you bring to us. So we're happy to listen, happy to understand, and happy to work on issues that matter to this community. That being said, we have everyone here present today. So what I'd like to do is start with opening comments, and I'll start with Representative Yarkowski. Would you like to address folks here?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome back to the seat of the chairman. We definitely ran better when you were the chair versus when I was, so thank you. No, I'm Representative Taylor Yarkowski, and I just finished my third session. I'm in the middle of my second term. I represent the south of the county, District 25. I say it all the time, and I'll say it till the day I die. It's the greatest honor of my life to serve this county and to serve with this team right here. And we had a really interesting session, as everyone saw. I think as much as there was turmoil and craziness, some of us got a lot of clarity through that. We learned a lot. We learned who people really are. We learned who people aren't. And I think that's very divine sometimes as we're preparing to go to battle in the next few years, is really understanding who we're in these battles with. So I as much as I wanted to get more done, I think we still got a lot done, even though it may not have been by way of signed legislation. I do know that we have a governor that loves this county. We have a whole team in his administration that love Lake County. They respect Lake County, and we are working very, very hard to continue to build those, not only with him, but with the House and the Senate, and not make it political at all. This is about people. This is about what Lake County needs, and you know, we're here making decisions on what's going to make your quality of life better, and that's it. We're not worried about any of the other forces. So I'm excited to hear from everyone today, and I thank my colleagues for their support, and I say it all the time, we are so blessed to have this team and this delegation, and like I said, it's a great honor to be here, and I'm excited to hear from you all today, and look forward to working with you as we continue to move the ball forward. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Rep. Cobb and Rep. Gentry, for your friendship and your colleagues, or your support of me as well. So turn it over to you, Chair.
Thank you. And Representative Cobb, your comments and concerns you would like to address?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nan Cobb, and I represent District 26, which is North Lake County. And it is an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Just like Rep. Yarkowski said, it's just the best thing we do. For me, my best thing is constituent services, is serving the people, truly with a servant's heart. We did pass good legislation this year. I know it was difficult at times, but you know, as a freshman, I'm very proud to have brought back almost $5 million to District 26, along with the help of Senator Trunow. And I was able to pass 3 bills in legislation which deeply, deeply affect Lake County, which is good stuff. Good stuff. You know, we helping families, helping children, helping mental health. So I thank you again for everything. I have to tell you, as a freshman, it was a different year for us. And thanks to the help and guidance of Rep. Yarkowski and Senator Trunow, it made it just that much nicer. I will say that it is nice when people from Lake County come visit. Please come visit us. It can get lonely at times because we see a lot of different people, but it's nice to see people from home, our people. And so we look forward to working with you, and I look forward to serving you in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rep. Cobb. Representative Gentry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Richard Gentry, and I represent House District 27, which means I have some of the northeast parts of Lake County, but I will tell you that I feel that the county, the whole county is mine, so that's my outlook on this. I have a background, I lobbied for about 40 years in Tallahassee, so although this was my freshman year, I had some idea of some of the things that were going on there. I hail from the beautiful downtown area of Astor, and so whenever anybody sees me in a suit and tie like this, they think either somebody is getting married or they've died. I have a good bit of background in growth management, and for that reason, I will be fairly active this coming session on dealing with trying to hopefully correct some of the things in Senate Bill 180 that many of you have heard about. Senate Bill 180 was a large bill that passed on the last night of the session. It was, at the time, it was touted as being the cure-all for a lot of problems. I would note that even the cities and the counties supported it, but the closer everybody looked at it, the more they thought maybe there are some problems here. And so I feel pretty sure that the legislature will take up some proposed changes to it. I have spoken with your chairman of the commission, and we're going to have further conversations about it, but I think that you'll see some changes coming for that and the way that local government can operate. With that, I would probably end my diatribe and say we can move on, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you, Representative Gentry. You know, you're modest, a little bit modest about a few things, but everybody knows about Silver Glen and the issues we're having with Silver Glen. Representative Gentry is the author and the behind the scenes keeping Silver Glen open. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for your help on it, too.
Absolutely.
It was,
So, you know, it is an honor to be up here working on the issues that matter. And, you know, Senate District 13 covers all of Lake County and part of Orange County. And I think that we cover a broad number of issues this year. Yeah, it was expect the unexpected for sure. There was a lot of moving parts that, you know, weren't necessary, but they are what they are. So at the end of the day, I think we did accomplish a lot more than what we thought we were going to. And as far as me working on some issues that are near and dear to my heart, that, you know, working on how do we protect agriculture in the state of Florida? And we all see that here in Lake County about losing land to development every single day. So what do we need to do to try to stop that or slow that and make sure that agriculture is still a vibrant part of our economy, our way of life, and, you know, just keeping those green spaces where they're at. So, you know, I was tasked with a high target, you know, the president of the Senate asked me, how do I save agriculture? You figure it out. Okay. So we went to work and we're doing some things that will help that. You know, the conservation easement through FDACS, we funded it to $250 million. That's a big deal. If you look over the last 20 years, in the last 4 years, that's more money than in all 16 years prior. It's just a huge amount of money, and it's about time that we pay attention to what we're doing, because I think food security is national security, and it's a big problem, and I don't take it lightly. Many of you don't know this, but 90% of your seed production for vegetables comes from somewhere else, India and China. We don't produce our own seed to even grow your own vegetables. When you buy the seed at the local farmers market, you're not buying seed from some producer in Florida or in the United States for that matter, because we've been priced out of the market. So we're working hard to figure out how we can keep agriculture sustainable and keep it viable. There's going to be a resolution on the ballot in 2026 that is an exemption for ag producers. It will exempt producers from tangible personal property tax. That's a revenue source for counties, and that's a big deal. But it's not a huge number. So it's doable. You know, had to go through the vetting process, and, you know, the budgetary office in the legislature, it was the last day of session before we got it back on the agenda and on the floor. So they did their due diligence, and yes, what price do we pay? So what price do we pay to keep agriculture alive in the state of Florida if we don't start taking and making measures that make sense? So I'm proud to have done that, and I'm sure I've got a lot of work yet to do to make sure that we keep this and continue doing it. So I'm just happy to be here today and look forward to everyone's comments. Now, we do have a little work to do here. We have to nominate and vote for the up-and-coming next session for who's going to be chairman and vice chairman. Do I hear a nomination?
I'd nominate Representative Cobb for chair.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Another nomination?
I'd like to nominate Senator True now for vice chair.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that takes care of that part of the rules and procedures. And we'll get started. So, first up today, we always try to do local government first. So today we'll have Chairman Leslie Campion, Lake County Board of County Commissioners. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. Appreciate you being here in our chambers. First off, I want to say thank you to Representative Gentry on taking on the Senate Bill 180 issues. After Hurricane Milton last year, we had some major flooding issues in Lake County, and we began working on a floodplain ordinance revision. It's very complicated. It's something we've been working on. This bill essentially prevents us from moving forward with that. This is critical to our local government, critical to the people of Lake County. So that's just one example of something that Senate Bill 180 prevents us from doing. So we provided a letter with suggestions on how to surgically fix 180, which started out as a good bill, but then it was changed late in the session. And I think that there were probably legislators that didn't know what had been put in there. And we're just asking that you take those bad parts out and then tighten up the language, and then we can address issues and you can help with those issues related to hurricane damage and properties that are trying to rebuild after a hurricane, which is how that bill started. So thank you very much for that, and I look forward to working with Representative Gentry on that. The next thing we want to ask you is another policy-related issue, and that has to do with transportation funding. We're having an extremely difficult time keeping up with infrastructure needs. We all know growth is exploding in the state of Florida, Central Florida, and especially Lake County. We're feeling it really hard. The old way of funding transportation isn't keeping up. So this is kind of like a bigger policy issue of fixing transportation funding overall. But the short-term fix that we're requesting would be a bill that would actually address the backlog of state roads that are in our county and county roads that relieve state roads. Examples, the bottleneck in Mount Dora, 441 from Donnelly to Renegers, goes from 3 lanes to 2 lanes. Perkins Street in Leesburg, 3 lanes goes to 2 lanes. 44B in the Eustis, Mount Dora area has been a priority project for almost 15 years, and it still hasn't been funded. 44, County Road 44 from Leesburg to Eustis, that's a reliever road. We just need help with the backlog. So we're asking that you all would work together, and I'm happy to work with you on language to put a bill forward that would actually allow for appropriations for those backlogs of state roads and state reliever roads in high-growth counties such as Lake County. We had a washout at Britt Road during Milton. Britt Road is in an area that has an extreme slope. It also has artesian springs around the road, and then upstream there's a nursery. During big storm events, nurseries run off like crazy because they just can't percolate. Where they keep all the plant material, the way that the Water Management District rules work, these are treated as pervious areas, but during big rain events, they don't drain, and we need help getting that road rebuilt, and it needs some additional work on culverts and the unique situations there. You have our packet. We're asking for 2 other things: judicial expansion. We need some help with planning that. We've got additional judges. We need more space, and we're trying to connect our parking garage as well over Sinclair into the courthouse. And then we're asking for help with a trailhead and library in East Lake County in the Sorrento area. So thank you very much. Appreciate all that you do, and I look forward to our ongoing conversations on getting Senate Bill 180 corrected. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you bringing that to our attention. I did get out of order a little bit, so I need to go back to, I have to go back to one thing to codify our rules and regulations for this meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. And then we have some local bills. Local bills that we'd like to present today, and we've got Representative Yarkowski with a local bill.
So, thank you, Chairman. We are working on, is this on a tab or?
Tab A, yeah.
It's on tab A, okay, I just want to make sure I had it. We are, as you know, a few years back, the voters in Lake County passed the North Lake Hospital District taxing referendum and taxing district. That, you know, I've heard over the years a lot of back and forth on that one. I know what one of my predecessors back in the day did down in South Lake when we had a similar district. The senator and I and both my representative colleagues have spent tremendous time talking this through. We've spent time with both leaders of UF Health and Advent Health, who, by the way, are fantastic partners and friends to us, their staff. And I see what that tax did in the beginning and what it continues to do. But we have an obligation to be prudent with that money and that authority. And we are working on a plan to, the way that bill was written initially was if it is not taken up by the legislature, the delegation, then it would automatically go on the ballot to be voted on again and stay in place. So we are taking action here. We're going to file a local bill that will eliminate that tax. But I want to be very clear that we're not just eliminating tax to say we're cutting taxes. We have spent time understanding. I have toured the Christian Care Center, for example, back when I was a candidate with Senator Baxley, and I've been working closely with the communities. I know what that money has done, is doing, and the people that are involved. So this is very serious to me. I want to make sure everyone knows that. I don't just go do things for political purposes. There has to be a return on investment, and it has to make the quality of life for people in Lake County better, and it has to be the right decision. So we have not taken it up until now, but I believe it is the right time, and the leaders of both of those organizations, their council, we've spent a lot of time talking, and we're all working together to make that happen because we do believe it's the right time. So Chairman, is there anything else you would like to address on that bill, or just is that enough for what we need to talk about here today?
I think that you covered a lot of what we're trying to accomplish here, but, you know, we have taxation for the North Lake Hospital District just for the residents of North Lake County. We all understand that we have indigent care that we need to take care of in the county, but we have a big county as well. And yes, there are hot spots in North Lake County, and there are less hot spots in South Lake County. So things are dealt with a little bit differently in different areas, but overall, the residents of Lake County in those districts are paying the bill. And I think that, you know, the taxation, double taxation, in my opinion, of being taxed for an ad valorem tax for the hospital district and your regular property taxes is duplication. And I think that we can find a simpler method to take care of the needs. So I agree with what you're trying to do here.
And one more thing, if I could say, is the reason that I believe it's the time is because we have other ways to accomplish what that was initially intended to do. So I just want to be very clear on that. We have, you know, I am not going to take from people who are having a hard time right now just paying bills or dealing with health care. We have to be cognizant of that. And by the way, I want to say thanks to Chair Campione for what she had to say. And we work closely with them on this stuff, and she's been great with reaching out and coming and meeting with us on these things and really understanding how it affects every level so that we can make the right decision. I say all the time, we're not here to be right, we're here to get it right. And oftentimes that means that I'm not right, but the mission wins. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments?
No, I echo the same sentiments, and I will tell you, we're not looking to demolish this. We know that there's issues. We know that we would never try to take away from people, but there's just a better way. So.
Thank you. Any comments? No. So we have to have a vote. All those in favor of moving forward with this legislation, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The second thing we have today is Representative Cobb.
Thank you,
are
Mr. Chair.
recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I am proposing a local bill. I have met with our county manager, Ms. Barker, on this, and it is a local bill on compensation for health care services for inmates in Lake County. And I'd like to read to you what the crux of the bill. So, the bill limits the compensation of healthcare providers who provide medical services for inmates housed in the Lake County Detention Center up to 110% of Medicare allowable rate if the provider does not have a contract with Lake County to provide medical services to inmates, unless the provider reported a negative operating margin for the previous year to ACA, in case the bill limits compensation to 125% of Medicare allowable rate. The bill also limits compensation of hospitals designated as trauma centers to 175% of the Medicare allowable rate when treating an inmate designated as a trauma alert victim. The bill also eliminates compensation to entities providing EMS transportation. And so if the inmate is housed at Lake County Detention Center, it's up to 110% of the Medicare allowable rate if they do not have a contract with Lake County. So the fiscal impact, like just this past year, the fiscal impact that was to Lake County was over $300,000 to save in taxpayer money. That was above and beyond. This could be up to millions of dollars we could save for the county. So this is a good local bill, and I am proud to present this bill for the citizens and the taxpayers of Lake County.
Any comments? No? Well, we got to wait just a minute for our other member to come back before we can vote.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would make a comment, and I would like everybody in the audience to know that these local bills that we're proposing are not simply the idea of one particular member. All of the delegation has talked about this, and all of the delegation is supportive of whatever comes forward to be presented to you.
We got to wait just a minute for Representative Yarkowski to return. All right, so we have to vote on this piece of legislation. All those in favor of this proposal, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, Representative Gentry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be bringing forth a bill to the legislature that will require single-member districts in the county. We believe that single-member districts are closer and more responsible to the people and more responsive to them. And when it comes to countywide decisions, those single-member districts will better reflect all of the voices of the county. So I will be moving forward with that.
Any comments?
I would like to make a comment. I would,
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If Rep. Gentry, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to amend the bill, also to say that we term limit that to 12 years.
I would accept that amendment, Mr. Chairman.
So moved. Any comments? I think that this bill, in consideration of this bill, is something that the legislature's been working on for the last several sessions, maybe even longer, about term limits and setting the bar about how things are getting done and who is reflective of those areas. So I think this is time for us to step in, since we can't get it done with the full legislature, that this local bill will handle that issue. Any other comments?
I do have a comment, Mr. Chairman. I recall last session that some counties and their delegations are starting to move forward with local bills, and some passed last session. So it's not a phenomenon that we're trying to bring to Lake County as some new idea.
Thank you, Representative Gentry. So with that being said, all in favor of the proposed legislation, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Well, thank you very much. Now we'll get back to public comment. We are posed and ready. So next up, we have Robert Hendrick from Lake County Water Authority.
Hey, Mr. Chair, is it okay if I say something really quick before he speaks? All I wanted to say on these local bills is this is just the start. This is a main process that just runs through the Florida House. And we're just getting started, and like we always say, we can't fix it if we don't know. So come see us. This is the time, and we need to start working on these, and we're looking forward to those conversations. So I just want to be very clear. This is just the starting point. We're going to get it right. So thank you.
You're recognized.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Chairman Trunow and Lake County Legislative Delegation. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm Robert Hendrick, the Chair of the Lake County Water Authority, and I'm here to present our 2026 legislative priorities, each aimed at improving water quality, strengthening flood resilience, and enhancing public safety throughout our region. The first is the Nutrient Reduction Facility, also known as the NERF. The NERF is one of our most effective tools in protecting the Lake Harris chain by removing phosphorus and other nutrients from Lake Apopka. We are now reimagining this 220-acre site with a nature-based master plan that will incorporate filtration marshes, ecological restoration, educational facilities, and recreational access. The legislation funding request is for $600,000 to fund the development of the master site plan, design engineering documents. This will guide future phases to restore the natural flowways, enhance flood protection, and improve regional water quality, aligning with the state's watershed goals and interagency priorities. The second is the Pine Meadows Hicks Ditch Canal flowway. The Hicks Ditch Canal is a vital drainage corridor in the northeast Lake County, connecting Pine Meadows Conservation Area to the hybrid wetland treatment facility. Familiar with that. Years of vegetation overgrowth and sediment buildup have severely reduced the flow capacity, increasing flood risk. The Lake County Water Authorities are requesting $750,000 for Phase 1 restoration to excavate sediment, remove obstructions, and restore the canal to its functional grade. This will improve stormwater conveyance and protect natural systems and reduce flood impacts during major weather events. The third is the Cherry Lake Dam replacement. The Cherry Lake Dam, built in 1956, is a key component to flood protection in the Platte-LaCaja River Basin. Due to the age of the current condition, this structure has reached its life expectancy and is identified as critically in need of full replacement to aid in resiliency effort. The request is for $2.5 million to fund the construction phase. This project will strengthen the region flood defense, safeguard residential and agricultural areas, and improve long-term storm resilience. Each of these projects represents sustainable investment in Lake County's water infrastructure with real impacts to our residents, ecosystem, and future resilience. We appreciate your continued support, and we stand ready to work with each of you to bring these priorities to life.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Mayor James Homich from the city of Mount Dora. You're recognized. And then next, after that, we have Vince Sandersfield from the city of Mount Dora, city manager after that. You're recognized, sir.
Good morning. James Homich, Mayor of Mount Dora. I'm here to speak about being mindful of local control. The Live Local Act which I'm sure I actually spoke at the legislature on this issue. The Live Local Act, its effect, I'll give you an example of its effect on Mount Dora. There's one parcel of property downtown that is vacant. That vacant piece of property happens to sit on the lake. You're probably all familiar with Mount Dora. With the Live Local Act, the developer can basically develop however he likes and ignore all of the work the generations of Mount Dorans have put in to preserving our downtown. It completely wipes out the efforts in 1950 of our forefathers putting 441 way out of town. We just had a charter amendment for the downtown historic district that limited heights to 35 feet. We've done many, many things over the years to protect our town, and the Live Local Act comes in, bulldozer, wrecks everything that the locals have done for years. So, I mean, when you're looking at this legislation, like SB 180 or whatever, be mindful of the local control. We're in a much better position to know what our residents want. You know, small government, I'm down at the bottom of the tiers. We're down there with our local residents. So I would request that when the Live Local Act is probably the worst thing to happen to small towns and cities over their local control than anything. If you're correcting SB 180, that'd be good too. But all of that comes from, I guess, a desire by Tallahassee to run our city. And I don't think they're in a position to do that. And I think you need to be mindful of those things in all of the legislation. They sneak in little things in all sorts of legislation that give Tallahassee control. And, I mean, obviously, the big issue coming up is property taxes. 60% of our ad valorem tax goes to our police and fire. I haven't heard a solution to that. Is Tallahassee going to get rid of property tax, and then they're going to allocate money to the cities on how they should spend? I mean, just be mindful of local control when these bills come up. So that's kind of my request in this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vince, you're recognized.
Thank you. Good morning, Senator Truenow, Representative Yarskowski, Representative Cobb, Representative Gentry. On the behalf of the City of Mount Dora, thank you for the opportunity to share three priority projects aligned with the state goals of health, resilience, and workforce development. We'll prepare the additional purpose and impact in our packet, but I want to introduce the three projects. The first one is wastewater plant 1 on our east side. Is a 1 megawatt backup generator. This will assist in ensure interruptions in operation, environmental compliance, and also be a precursor to the expansion of that plant. That's a large generator at $1.5 million. The request is $750,000, and we've committed $750,000 as well as a commitment. The second is the Mount Dora Community Resource Center, a technology laboratory equipment request. We're looking for a multi-use center. It's under construction. Our leverage and impact right now today with Mount Dora is $17 million. It's under construction and should be open up this summer 2026. We'd like to introduce the technology for equipment to use for monitors, smart boards, 3D printers, and part of the operation of that facility to assist Lake County and Mount Dora residents is to use for telehealth offices. It'll be available as one of the components. There's multiple issues as well with the expansion on that project. The last one is our electric utility grid resilience. This is Sullivan Shores area. It's kind of near the Triangle Elementary. It'll impact 60 homes. We find ourselves out there parking electric truck every time there's a wind in the air because the power line poles are behind the homes and it requires everybody to climb up them. It's been our problem child electric for outages and assist that area, county and the city residents as well. That cost is $222,000, and we'll match that. It's a 50-50. Thank you again for the investment on the shovel-ready projects, fiscally matched, and they'll focus on reliability, health, and opportunity. And for your consideration, we'll deliver these outcomes to Lake County and to Mount Dora. And I wouldn't be remiss to be political on Senator Trunow and Representative Yarskowski and say, and it's not my political DNA, but go Iowa State Cyclones.
Thank you, Vince.
All right, we got a problem now.
Mount Dora who?
Next, we have Mayor Walter Price from City of Tavares. You're recognized. Welcome.
Good morning, Chairman, delegation members, and distinguished guests. I'm Walter Price. I'm the mayor of Tavares, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about several important projects in the city of Tavares. Each of these projects not only benefits our residents, but also provides broad regional advantages for Lake County and beyond. We respectfully request your support for state funding assistance through appropriations to bring these efforts to fruition. Our first project is the continuation of the Golden Triangle Regional Park, our West Sports Complex. This request is for $600,000 in state funding to partner with $400,000 from the City of Tavares, totaling a $1 million investment. These funds will complete essential infrastructure, trails, restrooms, a concession building, parking, and sidewalks. This park is not just for Tavares. It is designed to serve all of Lake County and the surrounding region. By hosting regional youth leagues, travel tournaments, and adult sports events, the sports complex will drive economic impact through tourism, hotels, restaurants, and retail activity. Just as importantly, it provides safe, accessible recreation space that promotes healthy living for families across the Golden Triangle communities of Tavares, Eustis, and Mount Dora. Our next project is the Golden Triangle Regional Park East Trailhead project. The second request is for $500,000 in state funding to build the Golden Triangle Regional Park East Trailhead. This trailhead will connect visitors to Lake County's growing trail network, creating a gateway for biking, walking, and ecotourism. Our third project is the abandonment of water wells on Distant Avenue in the downtown entertainment district. Our third request is more modest in cost but crucial in impact. We are seeking $200,000 in state funding to abandon aging water wells on Distant Avenue. This is a prerequisite step for constructing a much-needed parking garage to serve Tavares' growing downtown entertainment district. Lastly, we are requesting $700,000 in state funding for stormwater improvements at Lake Francis Estates, one of the largest manufactured home communities in the region. This project directly addresses localized flooding and stormwater management challenges that affect hundreds of households, many of them seniors on fixed incomes. Improving drainage here increases neighborhood resilience, protects private property, reduces pollutant runoff into our waterways, and enhances public safety. So in total, these four projects represent a request for $2 million in state appropriations matched by significant local investment where possible. They advanced shared goals of economic development, recreation, tourism, environmental protection, and community resilience. On behalf of the City of Tavares, I would like to thank you for your leadership and consideration. With your support, we can deliver these projects that strengthen our region for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. No,
Thank you.
no, not really. We don't want to get started on that.
I just wanted to tell them to prioritize stuff, that was all.
That's good.
Okay.
Next up, we have Chloe Gentry and Gabrielle Hoffman from the City of Groveland Natural Resources. You're recognized.
Good morning, legislative delegation members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Gabrielle Huffman, and I am here on behalf of the City of Groveland to ask for your support in protecting Wilson Island. Rising over 40 feet above the Pa'alakaha, Wilson Island has the potential to become one of Lake County's most treasured natural resources. The city has led the effort to acquire Wilson Island as part of the broader strategies outlined in the joint planning agreement with Lake County and the city's comprehensive and strategic plan policies to conserve at least 50% of land in agriculture or conservation. Wilson Island has been in private family ownership for over 40 years. The land is entitled to over 180 residential units and 85,000 square feet of commercial and mixed-use space. The owner is asking for $18 million for the 3 parcels, which total 175 acres. They prefer to sell the land for conservation, but if that doesn't happen soon, they will sell to a national home builder. In the upcoming legislative session, the City of Groveland is asking for your support to acquire Wilson Island. Acquiring the island would protect a rare environmental resource, enhance public access to the Palatka, and safeguard the environmental integrity of the Blueway for generations to come. As a next step, we invite you to come tour the island so that you can experience its beauty firsthand. Thank you, and I'll now hand it over to one of the city's strongest partners, Cherry Lake's co-CEO, Chloe Gentry, to share more about this urgent conservation opportunity.
Thank you, Gabby, and good morning. I just want to point out that this is not just about the island or Groveland. This is a broader issue about the Blueway that we have here in Lake County. The Palatka River begins in Lake Louisa State Park. It runs through the chain of lakes in Claremont and Mineola. It goes into the Harris chain, and then it ultimately connects with the Ocklawaha, the St. Johns, and the Atlantic Ocean. And it just happens that Wilson Island sits at the heart of this really important system. So protecting it has really large implications for our county. First, for our water quality, we all know that clean waterways, healthy waterways are key to drinking water, to recreation, and to agriculture, all of which are the foundations of this county. Second, of course, is our local economy will benefit. If we can activate this destination Blueway, we will attract regional tourism and related industries to come settle here. But perhaps most importantly is the demonstration of leadership that we'll have at a regional level. You know, in 2021, we had the Florida Wildlife Corridor Act passed unanimously and bipartisanly. And it really showed the importance that conservation has at the state level. And I think Wilson Island here is our opportunity to do it at a regional level and really to join the state of Florida as a leader in innovative, collaborative conservation that benefits both the private and public sectors. So I really urge you to learn more about this project and support us in this acquisition. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have T.J. Fish, City of Groveland, Director of Transportation and Public Works. You're recognized.
Thank you, sir. And greetings from the city of natural charm, Groveland, Florida. I want to start with thank you. Thank you for the $2 million appropriation for our wastewater plant project. That was huge in this last session. I appreciate the efforts on transportation. We have a signal going in on US 27 at Wilson Lake Parkway that'll be activated soon. Another one going in on State Road 19 at Cherry Lake Road, all with your influence and your actions. And so today, Groveland is requesting, and Lake County, and the Lake Sumter MPO requesting your influence. We don't need a bill. We don't need appropriation. We need your influence on the secretaries of transportation, whether it be Secretary Perdue in Tallahassee or Secretary Tyler here in Central Florida. We need the study of State Road 19 fully funded and underway. And the reason that's so important is we hear a lot about growth of people, but with people come the semis. Trucks running through Groveland, 1 out of 3 vehicles running through downtown Groveland is a semi-truck. And the reason is because we're right in the middle of Florida and we're an easy connection from I-4 through downtown Groveland to Florida's Turnpike and US 27. And of course, 19 goes beyond through Tavares and Eustis, near downtown Astor, by the way, all the way to Palatka in the Jacksonville Metro. So the need for the study is so critical because, according to DOT, we have nothing but an idea until you do the project development and environment study. So that PD&E funding, DOT will be releasing their tentative work program in October, and we fully expect to see a funded study in that work program. And if we don't, we have to come to you, the legislative delegation for all of Lake County. And you know, a lot of roadways get attention, like I-4, I-75, the Turnpike. But the thing is, this little 2-lane network of 19 and State Road 33, it's carrying a tremendous amount of freight movement from South Florida to North Florida. And I'd like to say it goes reverse from North Florida to South Florida, but most of those trucks, You know, they're running in full loads into Florida, and then they're running empty back out. And that, you know, and one of the things that's a game changer for Lake County and for Groveland is we have that burgeoning Ford Commerce Park sitting right there at US 27, the Turnpike, and State Road 19. So this two-lane facility is inadequate. The trucks are killing us. And I really want to emphasize a major thank you for the fact that because of your influence, the State Road 50 realignment project goes under construction this time next year. They'll actually be building the 4-lane to get the trucks out of downtown Groveland and to literally move State Road 50 a few blocks north. So we're going to be watching that tentative work program when DOT releases it in a couple months. If that study is in there and we're ready to move forward, thank you again. If it's not, we're going to need your help to keep beating that drum to get the attention of Florida Department of Transportation. So thank you for all you're doing. Groveland and Lake County appreciates it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Lieutenant Heather Vinson from the Groveland Police Department, Special Operations. You are recognized.
Good morning. Thank you all for allowing me to speak. Again, I'm over Special Operations at the Groveland Police Department, so I oversee traffic and traffic homicide investigations. So that's one of my auxiliary duties. So any fatality or serious bodily injury crashes I do respond to, no matter what time of day. I have a team of 4, including myself. So on January 21st, we responded to State Road 19, just north of Bible Camp Road. And it was a rear end case. A truck hit the car containing 4-year-old Melanie Whitehurst at 57 miles an hour. They were at a stop waiting to turn left into their own home. I did work on Melanie for about 15 minutes with our fire department. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful and she did die on scene. So I want to bring attention to that case because it illustrates a serious flaw in our traffic laws. She lost her life because the driver failed to pay attention while operating a 2.5-ton vehicle. During my investigation, the driver admitted that two officers that he was distracted, a textbook case of negligence. Despite this, he was charged only with careless driving against my professional recommendation in my extensive report. That extensive report is about 84 pages. The legal definitions are clear. Negligence is the failure to exercise the care expected of a reasonably prudent person. Criminal or culpable negligence involves disregarding a serious risk that any reasonable person would have recognized. I outline these findings in my report, yet the driver faced only a moving violation. This is usually because, unless impairment by drugs or alcohol is involved, state attorneys are often unwilling to pursue stronger charges. That's not justice, not for Melanie, and not for countless other victims of preventable crashes. Many officers have echoed this concern. Too often, fatal or life-altering crashes end in nothing more than a citation. The statute as it stands, which is Florida Statute 316.1925, defines careless driving pretty broadly, requiring only that drivers act in a, quote, careful and prudent manner. But when that failure results in a death, a basic citation is simply not enough. I'm asking y'all to help and support my efforts to add a subsection to the careless driving statute, one that introduces enhanced penalties when a driver's actions lead to the death or serious injury of another person. This is not about punishment for its own sake. It's about accountability, deterrence, and honoring the value of a human life. Driving is one of the most dangerous things we do every day, and it must be treated with the seriousness it demands. Updating the statute will not only promote safer roadways, but also restore the trust of victims' families in our justice system. One reason that Melanie's case stands out is because her grandmother, who was driving, was not the at-fault party. Many fatalities go unnoticed under the current system because the deceased is often assumed to be the responsible party. But I've seen too many cases where that assumption is wrong and where the lack of prosecutorial action leaves families devastated and voiceless. Those who take the wheel must do so with the utmost responsibility. Our laws should reflect that reality, and right now they don't. With your support, we can begin to close this gap and help ensure tragedies like Melanie's are met with silence, are met not with silence, but with action. Thank you for your time and your commitment to making our community safer.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Robin Menard Harris, City of Groveland, Waterfall Farms. You are recognized.
Good morning. I'm Robin Maynard Harris, founder of Libby's Legacy Breast Cancer Foundation and Waterwell Farms. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Groveland is a proud and growing community, one my family's been rooted in since 1949. But when it comes to healthcare access, we're being left behind. Residents, working families, seniors, and those with chronic illnesses must often travel long distance for just basic care. From downtown Groveland to South Lake Hospital in Claremont often takes 25-30 minutes due to distance and traffic. From Roy's Road in unincorporated Lake County in Groveland, it's 20 miles and nearly 40 minutes. That's just to reach the nearest emergency room. You see it happen. Neighbors waiting with chest pain to be treated just because the ambulance ride and intake took too long combined, and parents holding a child with a broken bone in pain for hours because of the drive and the wait time combined. That's the reality here. In a crisis, those extra miles can mean the difference between life and death. This lack of access isn't just a health issue, it's an economic and social issue. Schools see students in class sick. Farms and small businesses lose productivity, and seniors live with uncertainty about whether help will reach them in time. A major barrier is Groveland's misclassification as urban and metro. On paper, we look urban because of Orlando, but in reality, we function as rural. Our land use plan in Groveland designates 51% of Groveland as green space or agriculture use. That's who we are. What urban or suburban town does that? But the current classification locks us out of rural funding streams. One clear example, Lake County has no farm-to-school program. Let that sink in, none, and we're a heritage of agriculture. Those programs automatically award points for rural designation, which we lose. And what does farm-to-school have to do with health care? Everything. Nutrition is health care, and it starts with our kids. If they don't have access to fresh food, we're failing them before they ever see a doctor. We know census definitions drive classification. What we need from you is representation and advocacy. What is the path to change? How do we move from being stamped urban, suburban on paper, to being recognized as the balanced, agriculture-based community we truly are? We need our state representatives to go to bat for Groveland, to press for adjustments, and to unlock the resources we so desperately need. In the meantime, we ask your support to help us establish primary care clinics in city limits, incentivize healthcare providers to serve here, expand telehealth infrastructure, and integrate preventative care and nutrition programs with our farms. Groveland is ready to partner and build solutions. I love Groveland with my whole heart. We have the will, the leadership, and the community engagement, which you've seen. We've gone to Tallahassee. We've spoken to you. We're here. Because healthcare is not a privilege. It's the foundation of a thriving community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Vice Chair Dr. Linda Cowles from the City of Groveland, Parks and Recreation. You are recognized.
Thank you so much, members of the Lake County Legislative Delegation. My name is Dr. Linda Cowles, and I'm the Vice Chair of the City of Groveland's Recreation and Advisory Committee. And I stand before you today for children, the teachers, and families of Lake County, and specifically Groveland, a rural, as you heard, the agriculture city that's growing so fast, but still struggling to secure funding for our students. Strong public education can only be built on consistent and dependable funding. Unfortunately, the amount of state funding for Lake County sits near the bottom, 64th out of 67 counties, even though we rank 18th in student population. Anyone can see that gap is unacceptable and demands immediate correction, and that's why we're here pleading with you today for proper funding. In the past, Groveland received state and federal support for farmer worker education, recognizing the city's agricultural base and large population of migrant families. However, with the construction of the bypass road, much of that funding was reduced or eliminated, leaving children of farmer and seasonal workers underserved. The need has not disappeared. Families remain and are increasing, but the resources to educate and support them have dwindled. Groveland is built on hard work, family values, and the labor of migrant and low-income families who form the backbone of our fields, our schools, and neighborhoods. And we face a serious disparity in funding that can only be corrected by state action. Our public schools, 3 of them, are the heart of our community, and Groveland Elementary alone serves about 735 students, and 527 of them, which is 74%, qualify as Title I students. Yet only a fraction of our children are meeting grade level standards in reading and math because educators struggle to teach with limited resources while also being underpaid. Our schools are growing, our population is swelling, yet our funding lags far behind. The children of Groveland deserve the same chance to learn, grow, and thrive as any child in Florida. Therefore, we're asking this legislature to allocate resources specifically for our rural cities like ours, so families and children are not left behind simply because of their zip code. And I don't speak these words lightly. As the founder of a nonprofit and an educator myself that provides free after-school tutoring for children of migrant workers and low-income families for the city of Groveland, I've seen firsthand how critical these services are. For many children, after-school programs are the only place where they can get the extra help they need in reading and math. And without them, they fall behind and their future is dim. In 2015, I gave up my cozy apartment for 7 months just to keep providing free tutoring services to underrepresented youth. I slept on 6 chairs pushed together in a small office without a shower and kept opening the doors of that organization every day to serve these families. If I can sacrifice the comfort for a child's future and their needed support, what more, how much more can this legislature allocate resources with the stroke of a pen and a voice of advocacy?
We
ask-
appreciate you being here. In the essence of time, we need to
Yes, I know.
bring it to a
Thank you so
close.
much. But thank you we hope that you correct the disparity and fund education in Lake County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Zach Decker, City of Groveland, Planning and Zoning Chairman. You're recognized.
Thank you for allowing us to be here, and you may get tired of hearing from Groveland here shortly. As chairman of Groveland's Planning and Zoning Board, I'd like to share our perspective on Senate Bill 180. At its heart, SB 180 seeks to improve development efficiency, consistency, and transparency, and those are goals we fully support. However, SB 180 also raises concerns about how cities like ours can continue to plan responsibly for growth, safety, and quality of life. Every community is different, each having its own local authority. Over time, we've adopted land use policies shaped by public meetings, neighborhood priorities, and infrastructure needs. If those policies are stripped away because they're seen as more restrictive, we lose the ability to respond to the realities on the ground. Another concern is legal risk. The bill's broad language leaves much open to interpretation. That could mean more lawsuits, and instead of putting tax dollars toward parks, police, roads, cities could end up spending those dollars in court. Resiliency. Florida is no stranger to hurricanes, floods, and shoreline erosion. Local governments must be able to require stronger protections in high-risk areas. Without that flexibility, we leave our residents and businesses more vulnerable to the next storm. And also, we need stability in planning. When the rules are retroactively overturned, it creates uncertainty. Residents deserve to know what their neighborhoods will look like. Developers need confidence in the rules, and investors want predictability when deciding where to put their money. That's why we believe there are better ways forward. For example, imagine a state-supported unified smart code for zoning and land development that aligns with FDOT's context classification codes. This would provide the state information in a familiar format for transportation planning while allowing cities to adapt at a local scale. Imagine a user-friendly, statewide permitting platform that simplifies the development process by providing consistency across jurisdictions. Let's expand regional collaboration with MPOs and water management districts. Let's focus on incentives instead of restrictions, encouraging cities to adopt best practices by providing financial and technical support. Let's have clearer sunset clauses that targeted exemptions for communities in high-risk areas where they're truly needed. In short, SB 180 has the right spirit, but it needs balance. On behalf of the Planning and Zoning Board of Groveland, I want to thank you for your leadership and for listening to our concerns. We are ready to partner with you in shaping solutions that protect both Florida's growth and Florida's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mayor Keogh from the City of Groveland. You're recognized.
Thank you, and we appreciate this time and the ability to bring all Groveland's concerns to you and our fearless leaders for the community. I have to thank them as well. I want to digress and reiterate what Mr. T.J. Fish said, to thank you for the bypass. Thank you for helping us get the study at least off the ground for 19. And thank you, Mr. Yakowski, for the stoplights out on Cherry Lake Road, or out on Wilson Lake Parkway, and out on 27, because that's going to save a lot of lives out there. I just wanted to reiterate Wilson Island, to come back to that and say one thing that we didn't address was this is the last major piece or parcel of land that we can have available to the public in South Lake County to have access to the southern chain of Claremont and then down through the Ocklawaha River. That means without this parcel, everything is privatized. So there is nowhere to access the chain from that side. So that's why it's so important, not only because it's an island, but because we need it. Groveland put in 700, or just bought 750 acres, and adjacent to that of wetlands and shorelines. We know this is going to be a partnership to just show how serious Groveland is and its taxpayers are to make sure that we can preserve this island for our community and for Lake County. Transportation, again, I've thanked you for that. The stiffening of the laws on traffic is very, very important. It's a major topic in our community. Yes, Miss Whitehurst was a 4-year-old young lady that whose life was sacrificed on that 19, but we need to move forward. It's a travesty when you talk to the families of different accident victims when a car can be going so fast that when it hits the back of another car, sends it 200 feet down the road and causes a fatality of a young lady. So anything you can do on that to help us out, I'd really appreciate it. That's just not for Groveland. That's for the state. That's a very important item. Healthcare and education, you heard from Groveland on, those are our two biggest priorities. We need the rural designation. We very, very purposefully, intentionally put in our land use plan 51% to stay agriculture and green space. We need to make sure that if we want to preserve that we move from the urban to the rural so we can have benefit of healthcare sponsorship as well as more education funding that comes with the rural designation. And then last, of all the people that talked, everybody wants one thing, a path. We know we're not going to get a decision here. We want to ask you all we'll circle back with you on what's the path for us to be efficiently and use of your time, but also to give us the structure to move forward and get this stuff done. Everything can't be done at once, but if we have the path, if you help us in Groveland get that path, we're there to really partner with you. These will be the topics that our delegation this year when we come to Tallahassee will be walking around and talking about. And so we wanted to give you that heads up too, so you have that. And we will be visiting you, Nan. It was great visiting you last year, and we really, really appreciate what each one of you have done for Groveland. Very, very significant improvements there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And the next up, we have Tom Carino from the city of Eustis. You are recognized. We went out of order just a little bit just to try to get the cities recognized first. So, welcome.
So, Tom Carino, City of Eustis. Thank you to the best legislative delegation in the state of Florida. Honestly, one of the most supportive, engaged, helpful legislative delegations in the state, so we appreciate everything you do. We want to thank you for project support. Our Coolidge Rosenwald Gardens project is a project where we're looking to bring infrastructure to a largely underserved area. And one of the creative and innovative things that we've done here is we've put together a comprehensive funding package that involves the city, the county, the state, the feds, again, to bring much-needed infrastructure to an underserved area. So we appreciate all of your support related to that project. Also, we're going to continue to coordinate with your offices. Specifically, we have a meeting scheduled with Representative Cobb to make sure that our projects and our priorities moving forward are aligned with your priorities moving forward, because we know we can submit projects, but if they don't have the support of the legislative delegation, that's how we really get things done together. So we look forward to working with your offices, specifically Representative Cobb's office. We also want to thank you for your letter asking us for feedback on Senate Bill 180. Thank you for the opportunity to get you feedback on Senate Bill 180, and we look forward to working with you all productively on figuring out solutions for how to move forward. And then finally, we understand that your role, primarily you are servants of your constituents. You are there to serve your constituents. But at the City of Eustis, you probably don't get asked often enough, what can we do for you? And so at the City of Eustis, we look forward to working with you and the great teams that you've assembled within your offices to find out, is there anything that we can do for you, or is there anything we can do for your staff to help you get things done? So again, thank you, and if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. Thank you.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. Nice to hear that. Next up, we have State Attorney Bill Gladson. You're recognized. Welcome.
Mr. Chair, good morning, Mr. Chair and delegation. I think the common theme every time we talk, either personally or at these delegation meetings, is growth. You've heard it all morning, so I won't have to rehash it. One thing that I think is significant is we have not, as an office, been able to grow with the population. With the position I have, I'm responsible for public safety of 1.4 million people, 5 counties. Lake County is now my biggest county. It didn't used to be. We used to be a small circuit. When I started here 27 years ago, we became a mid-sized circuit. Now we're moving into the large circuit of the 20 different circuits in the state of Florida. Last year, you saw the legislature and the Supreme Court authorize 7 new judges to come to the 5th Judicial Circuit. I think we're getting 2 here in Lake. Our ask this year is going to be to fund some prosecutor positions, because some of those judge positions will be criminal, and if they're not criminal now, they could be criminal next year. So it's an opportunity for us to get additional positions. But essentially, for the last 5 years that I've been in office, we haven't added any new prosecutors. But the workload, as you can see, becomes more complicated and it increases. We have about 1,000 law enforcement officers in the 5th Circuit. I have 95 prosecutors. And if you take me and my chief and a couple other people out, we've got much fewer than that. 39,000 cases came through, complaints came through last year for 95 people to look at. So it's a daunting task. Compared to other circuits our size, we are far smaller. So my request this year is to bring the 5th Circuit's funding back to where it should be. If we were to do that and be fully funded like we are required to be under the statute and the funding formula, that's $3.9 million. But if I got $500,000, that would be a life changer. So that's where we are this year. One thing that you should know too, just about all of my lawyers are on dockets. I don't really have any specialization. I have homicide prosecutors that are specialized. I have 1 drug prosecutor in Lake County and 1 drug prosecutor in Marion County. I could staff a full complement of prosecutors to handle robberies, drug offenses. I don't have anybody that prosecutes elderly crimes. And what do we have in the 5th Circuit? Probably the oldest community in the entire state of Florida. So those are things that I would do if I had positions. Unlike some agencies where they have extra positions, we were one of only 2 circuits that they did not take any positions from because we were full. So we actually need those spots. I need investigators. I need lawyers. I need all that. That being said, I recognize how incredible it was last year. So I want to thank you all for us to get the money that we got, because we got a 2% raise across the board for state employees, and prosecutors throughout the state got an additional sum of money, which has helped stabilize some of the things that we saw. So I want to thank you because I think it's really important that without public safety, you won't have growth. And that's why people are moving here. And we want to stay on top. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. All right, moving on, we have Kay Barnett, President and CEO of Advent Health Mineola. You are recognized.
Good morning, Senator Truenow, Representative Cobb, Representative Gentry, and Representative Yarkowski. My name's Kay Barnett, and I serve as the CEO of Advent Health Mineola. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you this morning about our ongoing investment in Lake County and in the residents that we serve. This December, we will open Advent Health Mineola. This is an over 200,000 square foot facility that will provide not only emergency services, but also surgical care, imaging care, cardiac catheterization, and 80 inpatient beds that will treat observation care, intensive care, and everything in between. In 2026, we will further expand with a 60,000 square foot medical office building that will increase access to ambulatory care and specialty care for residents of South Lake County. At our recent job fair in Claremont, we saw outstanding response from the community, and we know that across these two projects, this will add over 500 jobs to the local community. According to Florida's Agency for Healthcare Administration, over 40% of the residents of South Lake County actually leave the area when they need inpatient care. And so this hospital is going to change that, keeping families close to home and continuing to invest in the local economy. But Advent Health's impact in our community goes far beyond this one hospital. According to a recent economic impact study by Charles River Associates, Advent Health is responsible for over 113,000 direct and indirect jobs across the state. The same study found that 94% of our expenditures remain in Florida, fueling the state's economy from labor income to supply chain purchases. Our impact goes well beyond clinical care. It strengthens our communities. I also want to thank Senator Truenow and Representative Cobb for sponsoring and securing support during last session at our Waterman Community Clinic. That free clinic provides essential primary care for uninsured residents of North Lake County, reducing the overuse of the emergency department and connecting patients with the services that they need. This is a perfect example of how our partnership with you translates to meaningful impact for our communities. So thank you very much for that. Our mission is to extend the healing ministry of Christ, and it set us apart as the #1 hospital system in the state of Florida. And while we're very proud about the health care that we provide to this state, we are also committed to being an economic partner to the communities that we serve. As healthcare grows more complex, please consider me a resource during committee weeks and during session. We are really proud to serve you and your constituents and look forward to inviting you to our grand opening of Advent Health Mineola this December. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have President Dr. Laura Bird from Lake Sumter State College. You're recognized and you're welcome.
Good morning, Lake County Delegation. I want to start by saying thank you so much for everything that you do for our college and for our students. We are so grateful for each of you. I want to share some of the great work happening at the college and the needs of the college. The State Board of Education held their estimating conference a couple of weeks ago. And once again, Lake Sumter State College was recognized as the fastest growing state college of the 28. We continue to provide an affordable option for credentials that connect straight to jobs. The cost to earn an associate's degree is $6,500. And with scholarships and financial aid, our students pay on average less than $4,000 for that degree. In 24-25, we served over 10,000 students. And just this fall, we have already surpassed 7,200 students. That's an 18% increase from last fall. One of the things I'm excited about is 27% of our learners this year are over age 22. So what we're seeing is people coming back to reskill. We've also seen a 24% increase in our bachelor's program in that same age group. And one of the things I love is that 98% of the students at Lake Sumter State College are within 25 miles of one of our campuses. That means they're coming from Lake and Sumter, and they're going to stay in Lake and Sumter. Our largest programs are nursing, business management and leadership, psychology, engineering, and biology. Our fastest growing programs are nursing, business, elementary education, and construction management. Those are in the top 3 for the Florida Chamber high demand positions. Our needs continue to grow at the college right along with the growth in enrollment. And we work to increase the standard of living for our residents in Lake and Sumter counties. This year, we're going to be focusing on the needs of safety and security improvements. We don't want to see what happened at FSU happen in Lake County. We are also bursting at the seams when you think about 7,200 students. So we're going to be looking at renovating existing spaces, HVAC improvements, and also specialized spaces for areas like construction management. We have opportunities to grow in Leesburg. Thank you for support of our Workforce Development Center. We are grateful for that. And renovating existing facilities. In Eustis, we're looking at adding the CDL and line worker program and also an agriculture program. And in South Lake, renovations and a new academic building. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Superintendent Diane Cornegay from Lake County School System.
Well, good morning.
You recognize.
Always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today on behalf of Lake County Schools. As we conclude the first 3 weeks of school, I can tell you we are off to a great start, and proud to report that over 43,000 children have returned back to our schools this year. If you haven't heard, we are celebrating a tremendous milestone. Lake County is now an A-rated school district for the first time since 2008, and we are showing improvement in every area of the state's accountability system, as well as the progress monitoring system, with a 93% graduation rate. That's the highest we've ever seen in this county. The success reflects the dedication of our teachers and our students, with more schools earning an A or B in Lake County than ever before. We are committed to building on this momentum through a continued focus on essential learning and targeted initiatives for addressing learning gaps. We want to extend our sincere appreciation to each of you for your advocacy during the last session, particularly regarding the funding of our CAPE, ACE, AP, and dual enrollment programs. The continued steady funding is vital in improving our students with diverse opportunities to earn college credit and prepare for their futures. We are thankful for your ongoing commitment to these crucial programs. Your recent legislation addressing school start times and safety procedures has been incredibly impactful, and we are thankful for that as well. The reversal of the new school start time mandate provides much-needed flexibility for our district and the families that we serve. Additionally, the modifications to school safety procedures around ingress and egress allow for greater flexibility and reasonableness in the law without compromising the safety and well-being of our students, staff, faculty, and families. We're very proud this past session to showcase the great work happening in Lake County's career pathways and industry certification programs at the House Education Policy Committee this year. Thank you, Rep. Cobb, for that opportunity. Our 80 programs, such as agri-technology, allied health assisting, construction, and engineering pathways, introduce students to career readiness opportunities beyond a 2 or 4 year degree, equipping them with valuable skills and certifications for success in a diverse workforce. Last year, we had about 5,000 industry certification exams taken and passed by our students in all of our middle and high schools. We look very forward to 2026 and encourage your continued work on the scholarship programs. We believe it is crucial to better track student enrollment and attendance with the voucher system to avoid penalizing traditional schools that often serve students that are transitioning to and from the voucher schools. This would provide better clarity, accountability, and comparability if we do one simple thing, and that is we treat the two scholarship program organizations just as we do Florida Virtual School within the FEFP, designating them as distinct districts. We believe that with the right measures in place, the scholarship program can be administered more effectively and benefit all of our students. Thank you again for your ongoing support. We look forward to working with you again this year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Vice President Janet Owen of UCF Government and Community Relations. Welcome. You're recognized.
Good morning. Thank you so much, and I bring greetings from the University of Central Florida's Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and students who started last Monday as we also celebrated the opening of a brand new college of nursing that will allow us to double our nursing enrollment. We're proud to have over 2,300 Lake County students enrolled this year and over 11,500 alumni living and working in Lake County. We have our business incubator program located here serving Lake County. We are your hometown university. With state support, found efficiencies, support from industry like the Coalition of Healthcare Partners that included Orlando Health and Advent Health, you just heard from. They have helped fund the construction of our new nursing building, but we've remained focused on solidifying our position as Florida's premier engineering and technology university, expanding our academic offerings, deepening our research capabilities, and increasing our impact on Florida's economy. We're committed to working collaboratively with government and industry to innovate and help solve Florida's greatest challenges. For example, because of the support of this delegation, and specifically thank you to Representative Yarkowski, who funded the work of the UCF's Center for Human Trafficking and Modern Slavery, where they're bringing innovative approaches to really being able to shut down that awful industry. Our 2026 funding request seeks operational enhancement dollars to continue our investment in faculty, student success, employment, and in infrastructure, specifically to support our growing footprint in engineering, computing, and high-tech disciplines. But our focus extends beyond engineering. We're working to embed technological proficiency and innovation across all disciplines, so we ensure that every UCF graduate, no matter their major, has the fluency to contribute meaningfully in a tech-driven world. We're desperately in need of renovating and expanding our academic facilities, and particularly in research, innovation, and collaborative space, and state-of-the-art student services. We do receive the lowest per-student state funding of all the SUS institutions, usually in the bottom half of the PICO funding as well. But we find efficiencies, we soldier on, we enroll approximately 70,000 students annually, and we're graduating 18,000 graduates a year in the fields that we believe are the most vital to Florida's workforce. Most of our students are from Florida, and most of them stay here and work on graduation. We respect that the state is reducing its recurring spending. We also know that investing in UCF and in Lake Sumter State College are investing in Florida's future. So we really thank you for your leadership, your long hours of service to people of Florida and to Lake County, and thank you for the opportunity to tell you about what we care about in the 2026 session. Go Knights.
Go Knights. Charge on. All right, next up we have Elizabeth Emery, Lake County Education Association. You are recognized.
Hi, good morning. Am I good to start, or? Okay. Thank you, Chair, Senator Trunow, Vice Chair Representative Cobb, Representative Gentry, and Representative Yarkowski for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm very excited to be here to continue our conversation and collaboration. I've enjoyed our past conversations and look forward to continue them. I'm Elizabeth Emery, a proud third-generation Floridian, Lake County native, educator, and voter. I spent most of my life in Lake County schools as a student, teacher, and coach. I've seen firsthand the power of public education. As an educator, I've had the privilege of directly teaching over 1,300 students and coaching over 600 athletes. My students have gone on to top universities, and some have become educators themselves. Proof of the ripple effect just one educator can have. I love my teachers, and I'm sure you can think of at least one teacher that made a positive, significant impact on your life. All students deserve the same experiences you, I, and my students had. No matter where we work or what roles we all care about the same thing, the future of our children. We want every child in Lake County to have access to a world-class public education. My goal, along with that of my colleagues, is to ensure our students are well prepared for their future. We can work together to meet this goal, and then we can achieve strong communities and economic prosperity. We have made real progress, and I want to thank you for your support. Lake County Schools is now an A-rated district, as Superintendent Cornegie shared, and a graduation rate of over 93%. That is something to celebrate. But behind those numbers is a growing challenge. In the past 3 years, we've lost over 1,000 educators in Lake County schools. The turnover of one teacher costs an average of $16,000. Considering the impact of just one teacher, we can imagine the significant negative impact this turnover has on taxpayer dollars and our students. This year, even with cuts to staff, including 125 instructional positions and changes to employee benefits, Lake County Schools is still facing a $7.5 million deficit. We can all agree that work lies ahead. Our educators are telling us what they need to stay and thrive. Fair compensation and support for rising costs, safe, healthy working conditions, and a voice in the decisions that impact their classrooms. We ask for your partnership to ensure funding and ensure that funding follows students. There's consistent accountability across educational institutions, district flexibility and local control, and educators receive fair compensation and continuing contracts. These changes will stabilize our workforce and strengthen our schools. These are solutions rooted in the lived experience of our schools. And when students succeed and our educators succeed, our entire community benefits. We are excited to keep the conversation going and want to be a resource for you all. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Roberta. I don't know how to say your last name very well.
Blajo.
What's that?
Blajo.
Blajo? Okay. Lake County Education Association. You're recognized.
Thank you. My name is Bobby Blajo. Roberta is my name I don't use that much. But I am here as a representative of the Leesburg High School and Lake County Educator Association. I live and work in Lake County. I am a taxpayer. I have 3 relatives that work in Lake County schools, and I have 4 grandchildren in Lake County schools. So as you say in the South, I have a dog in this fight. I came into teaching in another state. I don't want to say it out loud, but I will, California. And I came here 4 years ago to be a part of this community. I love living here. I love teaching at Leesburg High School. In my 4 years of teaching in Leesburg High School, I have empowered over 300 seniors to meet their English language arts requirement for graduation. I have worked as a reading intervention specialist at Leesburg High School, and I also am an adjunct professor now for Lake Sumter State College, and I teach a dual enrollment class at Leesburg High School as part of a pilot program. I have looked at what the legislature has done in Florida, and I believe that everything that has been done in the state of Florida has been with the best of intentions. But my concern is the unintended consequences of some of the things that have happened. I want the best for my grandkids as they go through Lake County schools, and my daughter-in-law chose Lake County for her children to go there. I think when I look at Lake County schools, I enjoy what I do. I love the education that my students are getting there, but I want to ask you for your advocacy to take a look at what's really happening on the ground in schools. Spend some time in our schools. Spend some time in our classrooms. Spend some time in our discipline offices. The students I work with want to have great schools, and it needs money, but it also needs looking at some of the little things, the things that make teaching more challenging than it should be, the things that we have to do that really are non-productive and don't really advance student achievement. I don't have time in 3 minutes to list all of those there, and I, like my colleague Elizabeth, would like to continue that conversation because I think that there's things that we can do to make Lake County Schools a place that is great for our employees and great for our students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Go Yellow Jackets. All right, next, we're going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to bring up Deanna Thomas from Lake Tech. You are recognized.
Thank you, and good morning. I echo the words of someone earlier of good morning to the best legislative delegation that we have in the state of Florida. We sincerely appreciate your partnership and your support of not only Lake Technical College, but of workforce education in general. I know that each of you know how very instrumental it is to our economy, to our local community, and the tremendous work that we do. And I have to say that Lake Technical College could not grow and do the great things that we've been doing over the last few years without the direct support that you all have given to us. So I want to say publicly, thank you for your support and your continued support. This year, Lake Tech started with a record enrollment as well, with a 12% increase over last year. And that increase was largely able to happen because we have new facilities and new expanded locations for training. As you know, we were topped out. We had no more space at our main campus and our offsites. So we have been building new projects with your help and assistance and state grants and funding. We completed our 25,000 square foot transportation training complex. We are in Lincoln Park in Claremont with phase 1 underway, working now on phase 2. Thankful for the appropriation requests that you were all instrumental in the college receiving last year. We're now currently already in design phase after, what has it been, just about 2 months. So we'll be continuing and working on that in the spring. I do want to thank you for the open door grant opportunities that the state has been giving to our students. We scholarshiped over $450,000 to Lake County residents last year, which helps directly keep them in Lake County working. And so that grant dollars that are allocated by you all are extremely instrumental for those students. Also, the Florida CAP grant. The CAP grant is what allowed us to do phase 1 in Claremont, and also our renovation in building 2 on main campus where transportation moved out. Last year it was decreased. Obviously, we know last year was kind of tough, so it decreased from $100 million to $40 million. I know this year Florida Department of Education is going to request to move that back up to $100 million. We hope that you'll support that because that is also extremely important for both the school district, Lake Technical College, and Lake Sumter State College in expanding our renovated projects. It helps with building renovation. And also our state certification. So our students, we are, while we're not the third largest county in the state of Florida, we are the third to rank in industry certifications for students at the technical college level. And these are recognized industry certifications by our business and industry partners. You all also give incentive fundings for those students, but we exceed the target every year, and so that amount gets prorated. So that's been reducing every year because we're reaching those targets. So I ask that you take a look this year at performance funding for career certificate industry certifications. And again, thank you. If we can help you with anything, please reach out to us. We do appreciate your partnership.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And we're going to get back on schedule here. So we have Eileen Tramontano from Trout Lake Nature Center.
Good morning. As a child, I grew up playing in the woods behind my house, and I had a special thinking tree when life became a little chaotic. We had 9 people in the family, and it got a little crazy. But nowadays, not everybody has access to spaces like this. That's part of what drives the Trout Lake Nature Center, the belief that everyone, regardless of where they live or their life circumstances, deserves access to nature, to meaningful learning, and to the sense of possibilities. Environmental education began in the 18th century with Rousseau, stressing the importance of education focused on the environment, and continues to today. EE is a pathway to connections, to healing and learning, to meaningful action. And with these increasing difficult times, when environmental disasters are more frequent, funding is shrinking, and progress is under threat, EE reminds us that change is still possible, that people still care, we're not alone. It helps us focus on what we can do. Nature centers play a vital role in connecting people to the natural world and providing EE. They serve as spaces for learning, recreation, and connection to the environment. But they're much more than just places to observe plants and animals. They strengthen community bonds, they enhance environmental awareness, and they support personal growth. Nature centers provide a much-needed space for relaxation and stress relief. Research indicates that spending just 20 minutes in the environment can help lower stress and anxiety levels. They serve as a hub for collaboration, creating partnerships. These partnerships can lead to creative solutions for communities. The economic benefits of nature centers cannot be overlooked. By attracting visitors, these visitors spend an average of between $50 and $75 at local economies. But most nature centers in Florida and throughout the nation, 40% of them operate on budgets less than $250,000 a year. That's for managing the forest, that's for managing everything that goes along with it. We are asking the Florida legislature to support environmental education and nature centers in Florida by creating an Environmental Education Act, modeled after the 1986 Environmental Education Act. We do appreciate the past support of the legislature for our education complex expansion. This support is needed across the state for nature centers and environmental ed. We hope this delegation will take the lead on going forward to get environmental eds more support and nature centers also, who are one of the major providers. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Next up, we have Melissa Powell, from a constituent from Groveland.
Good morning. Wife couldn't be here today, so I am filling in for her.
State your name, please.
Alec Powell.
Thank you. You're recognized.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and thank you for your continued legislation support throughout Lake County, South Lake. In 2023, my family and I built our home in Blue Springs Reserve, Groveland, with one goal: to create a peaceful place to raise our children, a place of rest, safety, and stability. But since the day we moved in, we've not had a single day of peace. During the Florida Turnpike expansion, all vegetation behind our property was removed, and at one point, you could walk directly from the roadway into our backyard. The construction has brought relentless noise, dust, and blinding lights. We contacted FDOT, and while they offered apologies, that's all we've received. Apologies without solutions. The justification has remained unchanged. A noise study was conducted before our lots had a permit, but today, my home stands about 200 feet from the turnpike. We hear everything: fire trucks, sirens, motorcycles, heavy trucks, Jake brakes, day and night, and unfortunately, the best rest we get is when the turnpike slows due to traffic or an accident. The impact on our sleep, health, and overall well-being has been severe. Over 700 nights of disrupted sleep. That's not just inconvenient, it's unsustainable. As a healthcare professional and as parents, we know firsthand how critical sleep is to children's development. Chronic sleep disruption affects their ability to concentrate, regulate emotions, and grow physically. It interferes with hormone production, immune function, and cognitive performance. Our children deserve better than to grow up in an environment where rest is a luxury. The WHO recommends that nighttime noise levels in bedrooms stay below 30 dBs to support healthy sleep. Outdoor noise should not exceed 40 dBs on an average night, yet the noise outside our home far exceeds these thresholds, making restorative sleep nearly impossible. We've asked for a new noise study and was denied, and I have to ask, how was the FLDOT allowed to expand the turnpike and carry on a project that takes years to develop without the need for proper noise mitigation? When residential neighborhoods and subdivisions like Blue Springs Reserve and others around Lake County all have already been plotted and divided, regardless if a permit is active or not. We've all seen noise barriers installed in areas where homes are significantly farther from the roadway than mine, and why not here? This isn't just about my home, it's about a gap in infrastructure planning that affects every resident in our neighborhood, and we are not asking for luxury, we are asking for livability. I respectfully urge this delegation to authorize a new noise study impact that would prioritize the installation of sound barriers and construction hour restrictions. Families deserve to sleep, children deserve to thrive, and we all deserve to be heard. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Deborah Shelley from Lake County Conservation Council. You're recognized.
Thank you. Good morning, Senator Trudeau and Representative Cobb, Yarkowski, and Gentry. Deborah Shelley, Lake County Conservation Council. We are a federally registered not-for-profit organization here in Lake County. I'm here regarding the need for legislation to address protection of county-designated rural protection areas. Senator Trudeau, a comment for you. I know you're on your way out. I wanted to thank you very much for your comments regarding your work and the urgent need to protect our ag in Lake County. Thank you for that. We have, as you may be aware, we have 3 rural protection areas here in Lake County, and they have been in the comprehensive plan for over 10 years. But unfortunately, the long-term vision defined in the county comprehensive plan that aims to maintain the integrity of our county-designated rural protection areas is already rapidly being eroded through the annexation process. We know we have tremendous growth here in Lake County and cannot keep all rural areas and all rural lands, but we do have the opportunity to create a balance between rural and urban areas, create a balance between rural and urban lifestyles, and we need to continue to protect some of our rural lands and rural lifestyles, especially our designated rural protection areas. The loophole that exists in Chapter 171 Florida statutes allows for annexations of rural protection areas, and once those lands are annexed into a city, we lose our rural density, our rural character, and the areas are urbanized. I brought this topic to the Lake County Commission yesterday. And they advised that they may discuss the situation at a future meeting, and they may bring back suggestions for legislation or another local bill to address the issue. As you may be aware, they had a bill in 2023 that died in committee. The county commission also advised that if there is any legislation or local bill, they would like to ensure that it addresses the joint planning agreements that are in process. Lake County Conservation Council submitted the same information that we submitted to the legislative delegation, so they are aware of what we have submitted. I hope you will be supportive of meaningful changes to annexation law that will allow for the protection of designated rural protection areas and help maintain a balance between urban communities, rural communities, and rural lifestyle. So thank you very much.
Could you repeat that, excuse me, could you repeat that statute that you said gives them the loophole? Was it 171?
Yes, Chapter 171, Florida statutes. It should be in your packet. We also provided draft legislation for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Shelley, for joining us. Next up on deck is Mr. Scott Chevalier with Powerhouse.
Well, good morning, Representative Cobb, Representative Gentry, Representative Yarkowski, and Senator Trudeau. My name is Scott Chevalier, and I am a Hope dealer for high school students all across Lake and Sumter County. Currently, we are at Leesburg High School, Umatilla High School, South Lake High School, Lee Charter High School, and this year launching at Hope Preparatory Academy in Groveland, Florida. Every year, thousands of students across Lake and Sumter County graduate high school, but for many, a diploma isn't enough. Too many leave without a clear direction, a career pathway, or the life skills that are needed to thrive in today's society and workforce. According to the Lake County Economic Development Office, there are currently 274,000 16 to 24-year-olds across the state of Florida who are not in school and not employed. That's where the Powerhouse Youth Project comes in. Our mission is simple: to equip students to be college-ready, career-ready, and life-ready. We transform classrooms on campus to a Pathway to Purpose experience room, an interactive learning space where students engage in 17 hands-on sessions focused on decision-making, financial literacy, career exploration, and mental health. Through Powerhouse, students don't just learn, they connect. We bring together local colleges, businesses, and professionals to guide students toward training programs, scholarships, and job placements. Partners like CareerSource, Lake Technical College, Lake Sumter State College, and UCF help us open doors many students didn't even know existed. After all, you don't know what you don't know. It's about hope and opportunity, and Powerhouse delivers both. Already over 400 Lake County students have participated, with 90% reporting they had a career-ready conversation that they never imagined possible. For some, Powerhouse is the first time they've ever seen a path forward after graduation. But we cannot do this alone. Each school we serve requires funding that's not allocated by Lake County schools to deliver these type of programs. Your support means more schools available, more trained mentors, more opportunities for students to discover their purpose and passion. Investing in Powerhouse isn't just a program. It's building a pipeline of prepared, resilient, and purpose-driven young adults who will strengthen our workforce and community right here at home for years to come. I invite each of you to join us and invest in the most valuable asset our nation has, our youth. Together, we can give students direction beyond the diploma. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very powerful. Next up, we have Barbara Robertson, Guardian Ad Litem Office. Fifth Circuit, you're recognized.
Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you all on behalf of the Guardian Ad Litem Office. The Guardians Ad Litem assigned by the Florida State Guardian Ad Litem Office represent Florida's abused, neglected, and abandoned children in both the court and the community. They are appointed by a judge and after a child enters the dependency system. Every child appointed to the Florida Guardian Ad Litem Office is assigned a Guardian Ad Litem attorney to represent the child's independent legal interests, a child welfare professional, and if available, a volunteer or pro bono attorney from the child's community. This team-based representation model is considered national best practice. Our legal representation protects and advances the rights of children whose age or circumstances prevent them from making decisions for themselves. We consider each child's physical safety, emotional well-being, and permanent placement in a stable, nurturing home where the child can thrive. Our office is the only party in a dependency case that owes a duty of undivided loyalty to each child that we represent. In 2024, the statewide Guardian Ad Litem Office represented 31,622 children across Florida. We appeared in 497 dependency appeals in 2024, and of the decisions rendered, we prevailed in 98% of the cases, demonstrating the strength and quality of our legal advocacy. Last year marked the first time in our office history that we had sufficient resources to have every child in Florida represented by a Guardian Ad Litem, and we are pleased to report that this has continued. We are grateful that the governor and legislature recognized in statute the critical role mentors play in helping teens aging out of foster care, moving into adulthood. Our office works with dependent youth approaching adulthood to identify and connect them with committed, caring adult mentors, someone who can help navigate the real-world challenges of independent living. As of today, over 1,200 teens in our system have an identified mentor, and we always need more. As we look ahead to the upcoming legislative session, we respectfully request your continued support in two key areas. We are grateful for the support provided in recent sessions. We anticipate requesting salary adjustments in the upcoming budget. Our staff salaries have not kept pace with those at comparable state agencies, and we are increasingly challenged by staff being recruited elsewhere. We are doing everything possible to retain experienced, mission-driven professionals and continue delivering high-quality legal representation to Florida's children. We will ask Thank you so much for my time today. I appreciate everything you all have done to support us. Thank you.
And we're likewise. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Lacey Himes from Habitat for Humanity of Lake and Sumter County. You're recognized.
Thank you for hearing from all of us today. My name's Lacey Himes. I am a resident of Eustis, and I'm here to talk about affordable housing, specifically affordable home ownership with Habitat for Humanity. 1 in 6 families are paying 50% or more of their income towards housing costs. As you can imagine, that makes it impossible to save for retirement, to save for emergencies, and even makes those basic necessities hard to come by, like food and childcare. Habitat works with income-qualified individuals and families, including veterans, to provide safe, decent, and affordable housing. We have built 330 new homes since our inception in 1989, repaired over 800 homes, developed 2 pocket neighborhoods, and started the Youth Construction Academy, which is a partnership with 5 local high schools, offering that hands-on education and making the Habitat site become the classroom. We are one of 47 Habitat for Humanity affiliates working in the state of Florida, and we try to be innovative in how we are providing these affordable housing solutions. Each of these new homes are financed with a 30%, no more than 30% of someone's income of their gross income is how we define an affordable mortgage, because that is what affordable means. It means you can pay your mortgage and you still have enough in your budget to manage all these other necessities. Based on the median salary in Lake County and the sold price in 2024 of the median home sold price, we found a $90,000 gap. So we are finding that the people who live and work here cannot afford to buy a home here. We are here to provide some solutions to that. We've also seen the rising cost of homeowners insurance that has affected our families. We're working with the Florida Housing Coalition to study this issue and provide practical solutions. So as we are developing these solutions, we ask that as an expert in affordable housing, that Habitat for Humanity is a part of this growth and development that we see across Lake County. The legislative session will be coming back very soon, and so we ask that special attention be made to these hardworking families in our community and the need for affordable housing. It has many benefits that go beyond just the home. We see increased education outcomes, health outcomes. We see increased civic engagement, and we are a part of that foundational approach that families need to take the next step in their lives. So we'll be developing 2 new small neighborhoods in the coming years in Eustis and Leesburg, and these will allow opportunity for our Youth Construction Academy students to continue to have a place to learn that hands-on education. So we look forward to working alongside you, submitting appropriations requests, and thank you for the hard work and everything that you have done with Habitat already. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here today. Next, we have Stephanie Palacios. Is that right? Palacios. Well, thank you very much. Second Harvest Food Bank, you're recognized.
Good morning. Again, my name is Stephanie Palacios, and I am the Director of Advocacy and Government Relations at Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida. Second Harvest Food Bank has the pleasure of serving 7 counties in Central Florida, and we are the largest hunger relief organization in Central Florida. We work with over 800 feeding partners to address the growing problem of hunger in our community. 1 in 7 Central Floridians is food insecure. To help address this problem, last year we distributed over 82 million meals to Central Floridians. The work is significant in Lake County. Last year, with the help of 57 partner agencies in Lake County, we distributed over 6.2 million meals to Lake County residents. I want to thank the Florida Legislature for your support in this work. In 2024, the Food Cost Mitigation Project was funded and allowed us to distribute an additional 3.5 million meals in our 7-county service area. In 2025, we were honored to have Senator Trunow champion the Food Cost Mitigation Project. His advocacy resulted in an additional year of funding, and we anticipate that we're going to distribute an additional 1 million pounds of food with this investment. This is significant work and demonstrates the long partnership between the food bank throughout the food bank network throughout the state, Florida producers, and the state government. Second Harvest prioritizes healthy options and prioritizes working with Florida agriculture. Last year, we distributed over 36 million pounds of produce, and 75% of that was Florida grown. Our network is seeing an increase in families seeking support from food pantries throughout our network, and these investments by the Florida legislature help us meet this need. I want to thank Senator Trunow for your championship and your partnership and your leadership on this. And I look forward to speaking with each one of you in the upcoming legislative session to discuss how we can better address this issue throughout the state. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Next, we have Paul Owens, 1,000 Friends of Florida. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, delegation members. I'm Paul Owens, president of 1,000 Friends of Florida. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that advocates community planning and conservation to preserve our environment and quality of life and the economy that depends on both. We're a statewide organization with members throughout Florida, including here in Lake County. Normally, I would go into all the details of our legislative priorities, including land conservation, water protection, and affordable housing. But I'm going to take my limited time to address our #1 priority in the upcoming session, fixing Senate Bill 180, which became law on July 1st. There were good constructive provisions in SB 180 to enhance emergency response and disaster recovery, and we're not asking you to change them. We're talking about other provisions in the legislation that have slapped a 3-year freeze on community planning for every local government in Florida and would extend that freeze for another year in any county and all its municipalities within 100 miles of any future hurricanes. These provisions outlaw any change in growth plan amendments, land development regulations, or procedures that might be deemed more restrictive or burdensome. This description is not defined, and it is not limited to hurricane recovery. The law tightens the squeeze on local governments by allowing anyone to sue local governments over planning decisions they dislike. This means local governments have all but lost the authority to plan for fiscally and environmentally sustainable growth, and this is especially damaging in a county growing as fast as Lake is. Measures that would protect lives and property from flooding or ensure that public services and infrastructure keep up with new development or protect valuable natural and agricultural land will be off the table. These provisions will be challenged in Florida courts, but if the courts allow them to stand and legislators do not fix them in the 2026 session, they will deprive Floridians of any meaningful say in charting the future of their communities. We don't think that's what you intended when you passed SB 180. I'm pleased to hear Representative Gentry declare his interest in working on the bill, and we hope that each of you will join him in this essential work. Thank you for your service to this community and to Florida.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Next, we have Xander Hansen, Lake County Schools, Lake Point Academy. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, you're recognized.
Good morning, Chairman and delegation. As was just said, my name is Alexander Hansen. I'm with Lake County Education Association. I am a middle school ESE special education teacher, and this is my 3rd year in education. That said, my mother has actually been a teacher here in Lake County for the last going on 23 years. Since the opening of Eastridge High School, and she also does special education and has for that entire time. So I have some idea of the overall outlook and trajectory of things. I would like to build upon what my colleagues have said by giving you some idea of some of the issues that I've experienced at school on the ground level, some of the manifestations of these problems. So once again, I work in ESE, and one of the biggest shocks when I first entered the role was the sort of dissonance between what you will study and what is included on your certification tests, as well as, it turns out, what is taught in degree programs for education and how that is actually implemented and how we have to work around limitations. There is a plan called the IEP, stands for Individualized Education Plan, and that is the document that essentially establishes a student as being in the special education program. During that time that you are studying for the certification or you're in your degree program, over and over and over again, it is pounded into your head that this is, in fact, a legal document, as established by FERPA and IDEA. It is a legal document, and so anything written in there, you will be expected to carry out. The problem is that sometimes we would literally need to duplicate ourselves to be able to do that, because we cannot be in two places at the same time, obviously. One example of that is we have students that have a certain amount of minutes that we will be in a given class to support them. But we also have students, most of them, with accommodations for instance, small group testing, or with other accommodations on their testing. If a student, I work in math myself, so if a student has a test in, say, science during third period, I then have to choose between, am I going to be in my third period math class for that day and provide the minutes that those children are entitled to legally, or am I going to provide the student with support in his test that he is also entitled to legally? And again, that made the transition into this position difficult, because the entire time I sort of felt like I was looking over my shoulder, because this is a legal document after all. Additionally to that, I spoke about minutes, and the large class sizes can sometimes have an issue there because, well, some of those minutes, not all those minutes are created equal in essence. If I have on one extreme, for instance, one student in a class who is getting those minutes, who is getting my support, I will be able to help them a lot more than if I have, for instance, 8, 9, 10 students in that class. So once again, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yep, thank you for being here today. Next, we have Lori Nassifer. How do you pronounce your last name there, dear? Okay, you're recognized.
I'm here as a taxpayer, and there's a very simple fix. Every day we read in the paper that especially an elderly person or anyone loses their home to property fraud. And there's a simple fix to this. Just change legislation and demand that a fingerprint is on every deed transfer. And this shouldn't be a problem. And I just spoke to a friend that came back from a tour of South America, and in South America, anything over a certain amount of money, you have to have a fingerprint. A quick, cheap fix is change the law in the state of Florida that all deed transfers need a fingerprint. The second thing that I'm here for is the sex offender registry, which is a discriminatory registry, and it only takes in one type of a felon. And there's all felons throughout, we know all these felons, and there is a felons registry, but it's only open to law enforcement. And I only found out about this with a simple fix of a computer switch. We can have a felons registry. As a taxpayer, I would like to know how come people that are accused of, say, burglary, home invasion, elder abuse, school and mass shootings, rioting, torture, white-collar crime, prostitution, sextortion, kidnapping, and I can go on and all the felons. They're not on a registry. They go to prison, they come out, they can live anywhere, get a job anywhere, and even the HUD rules say you can't discriminate against them. The only ones that we can discriminate against are the sex offenses. And the youngest person on the sex offenders registry is 6 years old. The oldest person is 101. There's something wrong because the registry costs $1.8 billion or more, and it's a waste of taxpayers' money. Let's have a felons registry where everybody's treated equally, or let's have no registry at all. That's it, simple.
Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Steve Waterhouse with the Alzheimer's Association. You are recognized.
Thank you. Good morning. Chairman, delegates, thank you again for this opportunity. We appreciate it. I'm one of the many faces of Alzheimer's. My name is Steve Waterhouse. I'm the chairman of the board of the Alzheimer's Association for Central and North Florida. I'm also the caregiver for my wife, who has Alzheimer's and diagnosed in 2016. I know many of you have been touched by Alzheimer's in your families, and it's something that in Florida is an issue for us. We are the epicenter for this. Florida has the second highest population of Alzheimer's people. We also have I think we're 580,000 in the state right now, about 11,800 in Lake County. That means that 11.5% of our 65-year and older people have Alzheimer's. Ridiculous high. Due to your commitment, Florida has proven itself to be a leader in dementia care and support, and we want to continue that. I'm proud to advocate alongside the Alzheimer's Association, and we remain very optimistic as we give you our agenda for 2026. First, we need to raise awareness for the medical issues that are so important here. We are advocating for a $1.5 million fund for a comprehensive state awareness campaign. We already have blood tests for diagnosing, and we have drugs that, if given early in the disease, can make a difference. But if people don't know about it, if people don't know what's available, it isn't making any difference. Florida is one of the few states that does not have a public awareness campaign for Alzheimer's. Secondly, we must do more for the caregivers. We have 870,000 dementia caregivers in this state, 66% of whom are dealing with their own chronic illnesses, in addition to being a caregiver. Dementia care navigation is very critical and it's very complicated. We need to have more services available, so we'd ask you to codify the Florida Alzheimer's Center of Excellence program. And we're also seeking funding for the Alzheimer's Disease Initiative. Currently, there are 17,000 individuals on a waiting list for respite care support. And we need the funding to be able to reduce that number to zero. And finally, we look for your legislative support for the Alzheimer's Brain Bus. This is our mobile access that brings information to communities throughout the state. Thanks to your help, we've been able to reach all 67 counties every year, and we need to continue that. So on behalf of the Alzheimer's Association and the over 500,000 Floridians suffering with this disease, thanks again for all your support, and we look forward to seeing you in Tallahassee.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have David Garcia from Spectrum. No? Okay, we'll move on. We have Charlene Griffin, Co-President, League of Women Voters. You're recognized.
Thank you so much. I am the co-president of the local League of Women Voters that covers Lake County as well as Sumter and Marion. We're a nonpartisan organization. We were founded in 1920, before women had the right to vote, to empower voters and encourage citizens to participate by voting for the people that represent them, for you. And we want to thank you for your service to Lake County, and I want to thank you for your obvious dedication that I see in your desire to serve the people in our county. Our league has 3 just general requests for you to consider in the upcoming legislative session. Number 1, if it comes up, we ask you to say no to mid-cycle redistricting. In 2010, Florida voters made it clear that they do not want legislative districts drawn with partisan intent. This Fair District Amendment was designed with the intent that voters should choose their legislatures and not the other way around. We did not want legislators to choose their voters. The next redistricting is not scheduled until after the 2030 census, and we ask that you do not do it any sooner. Because changing districts, changing the electoral maps, creates confusion, it reduces accountability, and it weakens the connection between those who are elected to serve and their constituents. Our second request, that you say no to any bill that makes it harder to register and to vote. The Heritage Foundation defines election integrity as a guarantee that every eligible citizen has access to equitable, accurate, and secure public elections. And we recognize that that definition requires you balancing the needs for election security and the ease of registering and voting. So when bills come up, as I'm sure they're going to guard against election fraud, which is necessary, the League asks that you consider the impact that would have on all your constituents. Too often, the fraud reduction bills create undue hardships for certain segments of your citizens. Those that are older, those that are in poor health, those that are impoverished. So oh my goodness, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jennifer Paxton. Talk about senior programs. You're recognized.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Ray Paxton, and I am a Senior Program Officer for the United Arts of Central Florida. I have the distinct honor and pleasure to be the person on staff that handles all of the pre-K through 12th grade arts education initiatives. Our mission at United Arts is to inspire and enrich communities by strengthening arts, science, history, and culture through strategic collaborations and investments. One of the most effective ways in which we deliver on this mission is through our work in bringing arts-integrated learning experiences to students across our service area, which includes Lake, Osceola, Seminole, and Orange counties. During the spring of the 2024-25 academic year, we were able to activate donor funding in order to pilot the very first teaching artist residency program in Lake County schools. Through intentional collaboration with Superintendent Cornegie and Principal Patterson, our work brought a 15-week arts integrated learning program to the exceptional students at the Academy of Lake Hills South. This program utilized the art of hand-built and fired clay pieces alongside the therapeutic approach of mindfulness and meditation directly into the classrooms. Students built on their artistic skill sets while simultaneously refining their social-emotional skills. The residency culminated in a celebration and gallery event on the day of graduation where staff, family members, friends, and community supporters were able to view the incredible works of art and to connect with and share praise with the students themselves. All stakeholders involved reported that there was an immediate and positive impact on the students' self-confidence, attendance, and self-regulation that was directly related to their participation in the program. Fortunately, we were able to garner additional support from the Lake County Education Foundation to bring this program back to the students there for the entirety of the current academic year. However, it will require continued and increased support from state funding to scale up this type of incredibly impactful programming and to remove access barriers for all students in Lake County schools. A 2025 study from Americans for the Arts shows that arts-integrated learning experiences improve academic performance. Students engaged in arts learning have higher GPAs, standardized test scores, and college-going rates, as well as lower dropout rates. These academic benefits are reaped by students across all socioeconomic strata. 9 out of 10 Americans believe that every pre-K through 12th grade student should be receiving an arts education, and 83% support government funding for arts education initiatives across the board. The evidence is solid, the impact is far-reaching, and now we are only hoping for the promise of economic support from the state to continue this important work. Thank you for your time and for allowing me to speak with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Barbara Vendito. Is that right? Is she here? No? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Leland Terria. Well, thank you for that, and you are recognized, Lake Community Arts.
Thank you. If you take a good look at how the name is spelled, it's The Riot. Ha, 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 ha. You will never forget me again. Good morning to Senator Trudeau, Representatives Cobb, Gentry, and Yukarski. My name's Leland Terrio. I'm president of the Lake Community Arts, a new nonprofit organization dedicated to nurturing creativity and connection through accessible and inclusive performing arts programs for all. I'm joined here by my colleague and fellow board member, Debbie Famey. Our very first initiative was a non-audition community choir for ages 14 and up. And we just launched our first rehearsal at the Claremont Performing Arts Center last Tuesday, not yesterday, week before. We have welcomed 95 singers from all corners of Lake County, and the group is still growing. This overwhelming response confirms what we already knew. Our community is hungry for meaningful, shared artistic experiences. As a newly appointed member of the Lake County Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee, I'm committed to working with others to strengthen our cultural ecosystem, starting by helping form a county-wide directory of arts organizations and encouraging collaboration between North and South Lake County. Lake Community Arts also believes deeply in the power of music education. We are committed to supporting students and teachers through free performances, youth ensembles, and continuing education opportunities. Research shows that music doesn't just make better musicians, it builds confidence, discipline, and stronger academic and social skills. In short, it helps build stronger students and better citizens. In 1925, we're thrilled to partner with the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra to bring the Young People's Concerts to Lake County for the very first time. 4 performances at Lake Minneola and Leesburg High Schools will serve 2,500 fifth-grade elementary students, giving many of them their first experience of live orchestral music while connecting the arts to history, geography, and science. Looking ahead, Lake Community Arts plans to expand with a community band and orchestra, giving musicians across the county a place to grow their talents, connect with their peers, and discover the joy of performance. We are beginning with music, but our long-term vision includes the full spectrum of arts, dance, theater, and visual art, as we work to make Lake County a place where creativity thrives and the arts are for everyone. Thank you very much for supporting the 2025-26 Division of Arts and Cultural Grant Programs. Your investment empowers organizations like ours to do our vital work and helps ensure a vibrant, creative, and connected future for all of Lake County. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. We're going to go back a little bit and go back to Spectrum. We have someone representing Kate Wallace. You're recognized.
Hi, good late morning to you all, and I'm so sorry. My colleague David Garcia was supposed to be here, and then he had a sudden health emergency, and he'll be fine, but I had to get up and go and get here as quickly as I could. So thank you for accommodating me, staff and delegation. It's great to see you all. Again, my name is Kate Wallace, and I am on our Florida Government Affairs team for Charter Communications, which, if any of the audience doesn't recognize that name, it's Spectrum, and we are one of the premier cable internet service providers. I'd like to start first by thanking you all and your leadership on all of the state broadband grant partnerships. And you all know that once COVID hit and everyone became acutely aware, particularly in our rural communities right here in Lake County and across the state, that many folks did not have the ability to stream video, learn at home, do telemedicine, run their small business, whatever it may be, for why they would need high-speed internet. And instead of a luxury, it became an essential service. And so thankfully, through the leadership in Tallahassee and throughout the state of Florida, we partnered with you all to have the state broadband grant programs. And Lake County, of our 28 county footprint in Florida, we have close to 3 million customers, predominantly in the central third of the state, from Tampa Bay to the Space Coast and everywhere in between. We have won between the federal RDOF program and then the state grant programs. We are now, as we speak, extending broadband service to close to 12,000 underserved Lake County households and small businesses. I'm sure you all see us in construction. We've been proud to partner with the county local technology planning team and Eric Ross and the commission. And we also just view it as an imperative to close the digital divide. And we're going to continue to partner with you all and get all of those constructed either by the end of next year, God willing. With storms coming, we're never perfect, but we're always trying to get better and better with restoring service, working with our utility providers when it's safe to get folks connected as soon as possible should a storm come through. And lastly, I just want to talk about our company. We're proud of the fact that we offer a $20 minimum wage, health insurance, tuition reimbursement, free cable and internet service to all of our employees who live within our footprint. We're proud to employ close to 10,000 people statewide, including right here in Lake County and the surrounding areas. And our CEO is from the Orlando area, went to Oviedo High School, and is a double Florida Gator. So even though we're headquartered in Stamford, we're excited, or I'm excited as a Floridian that we have a Floridian at the helm, so he definitely cares a lot about our state. And lastly, we're just moving ahead, focused on permitting, deployment. Lake County has been a great partner, but we do encounter a lot of challenges as we're trying to get these built. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. We're going to get back on track. Katie Bonnet with Florida Government Affairs Manager with Alliance for Safety and Justice. You are recognized.
Good morning. I'm not Katie. I'm
State your name.
Tawana Ware, and I am here in place of her. She tried to be in two places at one time, and that didn't quite work out. So I'm here representing her.
You're recognized.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, Chairman Trunow and the members of the Lake County delegations, Representative Cobb, Gentry, and I'm not going to mess up the last name. Yorkie? Yarsky. Okay. Thank you for your opportunity to speak to you today. Again, my name is Tawana Ware, and I serve as the Orlando chapter of the Crime Safety Survivor Justice, CSSJ. We have over 250,000 crime survivors, including more than 1,400 in the Central Florida area. Our mission is to create a community and safe public space that serves and impacts crime survivors. Throughout our advocacy, the Alliance for Safety and Justice, we work along together, associated industries in Florida, which we are also a member, the Christian Coalition, the Advanced Smart and Efficient Solution. My ear pod keeps going in and out, so I apologize. Chairman Trudeau, for your leadership and effort, we thank you for the opportunity in reference to the Senate Bill 472, which was with the Florida Rights Restoration and passing that particular bill. So we do appreciate your time for that. I'd also like to thank you, Chairman, for sponsoring the Veterans Bill, which is Senate Bill 474 last year. Unfortunately, it did not pass, but we look forward to working with your delegation in the upcoming legislation. And as a personal note, I am now, unfortunately, a part of this organization. I lost my son to gun violence on January 28th of 2023. I've always been an advocate for the community, voter rights and things of that nature, but now it's unfortunately a personal one. So now it's kind of changed from that portion as well to help all gun victims. We're trying to get everything in this particular facility, and it's called a Trauma Recovery Center. One is located in Tallahassee, and one is located in Miami. And we're trying to get one centrally located, more than likely in the Orange County District. That would kind of be a center location for Orange and Lake County. So that is the Trauma Recovery Center that we are asking for support, that we are pushing forward in the next delegation, to be able to have that housing for victims of crime survivor. We always say it's a club that no one is asked to be a part of, but unfortunately that we're here, we are trying to do our best to be able to support. We also have another, gun violence does not have a color or race or anything of that nature, so we are here trying to support them in any manner that we can. So we thank you for your time. We thank you for your consideration of those bills that I mentioned. And again, thank you for the opportunity to speak before you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Ann Solomon. I say that wrong. I should know that by now. As many times as you've come to see me, you're recognized.
It took me a few years to learn how to pronounce it, too, when I got married. Okay, so good morning. My name is Ann Salomon. It's a pleasure to see those of you that I've known before and to meet those of you that have not. I'm here asking for your support on a draft legislation that would provide access to expanded nursing home care. Each year, hundreds of people in Florida die alone on the streets, some in the woods, some in their families' arms, some in hospitals, simply because they cannot access nursing home care in Florida. Why? Because they are on the sex offender registry. The legislation I'm asking you to support would allow people who are permanently incapacitated to petition to be removed from Florida's sex offender registry so they can access nursing home care. This proposal is analogous to Georgia's existing law. Currently, nursing homes and long-term care facilities are forced to turn away registrants, not because they pose a threat, but because of Florida's skilled nursing regulations, our residency restrictions, and the stigma that follows registrants in the facilities that they live in. Registrants who are elderly, bedridden, in advanced dementia, or terminally ill are denied nursing home care. Families care for dying loved ones at home without proper resources. Hospitals keep patients for months due to no Florida nursing home availability. This is not a small problem. The Florida registry is basically for life. Hence, our registrants are rapidly becoming elderly. This year, almost 7,000 registrants are 75 years old or older. 906 are older than 80. For more than 150 formal requests for long-term care are made each year from hospitals, hospice facilities, prisons, probation officers, family members, and landlords. This proposal to create Florida Statute 943.04355 allows our resources for the sex offender registry to focus on higher-risk individuals, not on people who are permanently incapacitated. Thank you. Thank you for
Being
everything.
here. Yes, ma'am. Next, we have Sabrina Davis, Leesburg constituent.
Okay. All right. My name's Deborah Sowden. Thank you for having me, or thank you for allowing me to speak. Almost 9 years ago, my father was killed by a local hospital. He bled to death in front of me in his hospital bed after not one, not two, but 3 medical errors. He went into the hospital with a broken leg. His body went missing from the morgue. The Board of Funeral, Cemetery, and Consumer Services launched an investigation to find him. ACA investigated the hospital and found that they broke laws. All that happened, and the hospital was written up on ACA's website. The hospital not only killed my dad, they tried to hide the medical errors by falsifying my dad's medical records. I'm sorry. I have both copies, the actual records and the falsified ones. In the state of Florida, my dad's life has no value because of his age and my age and his marital status. The Florida free kill law allows doctors and hospitals to get away with murder without accountability. Senator Roach explained it best. If a doctor gets drunk on his lunch break and he hits somebody in a car and kills them, he can be held liable. He makes it back to the hospital, operates on your loved one, kills your loved one. He cannot be held liable for non-economic damages. We have no right to the courtroom. Last session, the bill finally passed almost unanimously with a total of 137 yeas and 10 nays. I want to thank those on this panel who voted in favor. Unfortunately, the governor vetoed the bill, but his excuses did not match his motives. He claimed families want jackpot justice. That was a huge insult to those who have lost loved ones. We want bad doctors held accountable for gross negligence in the death of our loved ones. The statute of limitations is up on my dad's case, so I gain nothing from this. He also claimed it would open up a floodgate of frivolous lawsuits. This is false. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring a med mal case to try. No lawyer is going to waste their time and their money on a case with no backbone. They're just not going to do it. In my opinion, the only reason to vote no on this bill is if you side with special interest groups and large donors. This is a good bill that will provide better health care in the state. I'm asking for support in changing this brutal and unconstitutional law, and for those on the panel to vote yay this session. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Pat Sykes Amos, Umatilla constituent. You're recognized.
I spoke before you last year about the social work compact bill. And what that would do is, if Florida joins the compact, I mean, my daughter's a licensed clinical social worker. And at this point, she has to get licenses in all 50 states if that's where she wants to work. The compact, what it would do is if you're a Florida resident, you get your Florida license, have to meet all the requirements, the CPE requirements, but she would be able to work in the other states that are part of the compact. Now, last year, the House passed the bill, the Senate did not. So I'm sure it'll be introduced again. I had sent Ms. Cobb some information. I don't know if it's been included in your packets or not, but just to watch over that so that, you know, and the Senate, where it dropped out, was out of the physical responsibility. So I don't know if they're worried about not getting the travelers' license fees or what their issue is. When I talked to the state licensing board, they're approved this, they're in favor of it. So I'm just asking you to be aware of it. It will be introduced again, and let's see if we can get this thing through, because as my daughter said, if Florida doesn't join the compact, she'll just become a legal resident of another state, and Florida's going to lose these people, because then she can go work in about 23, 25 states that have adopted it and just not come back home to Florida to work. And I think we'll lose more of our Florida people than we have to worry about travelers coming in. So that's my only suggestion or concern. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. Next up, we have Janelle Carbone Rodriguez. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair of Representatives and Senator. My name is Janelle Carbone Rodriguez, and I am the newly appointed Unit Chair for Lake Sumter for the National Association of Social Workers Florida Chapter, and I am speaking with you on behalf of that chapter today. First, I want to express my gratitude to the House of Representatives for your leadership and unanimous support of the Social Work Licensure Compact Bill during the last legislative session. That strong bipartisan commitment demonstrated your recognition of the critical role social workers play in strengthening families and communities. Your vote reflected a deep understanding of the urgent need to expand the availability of behavioral health services in Florida. Today, I am here to urge our senators to please join the House in advancing this vital legislation. The Social Work Licensure Compact is a national initiative that allows licensed social workers to practice across state lines. This compact mirrors what has already been successfully implemented in nursing, psychology, physical therapy, and other health professions. It creates a streamlined pathway for social workers to serve clients in multiple states while upholding its high professional standards. Momentum for this compact is growing nationwide. As of today, 27 out of 50 states have passed the compact, representing broad bipartisan agreement that this is a solution whose time has come. Unfortunately, Florida is currently the only state in the Southeast that has not yet adopted it. This leaves us isolated at a time when our state is experiencing both a mental health workforce shortage and an increasing demand in services. As a licensed clinical social worker, this compact is not an abstract policy. It directly affects me and the clients I serve. Many of my clients move back and forth across state lines for work education, caregiving, or family obligations. When I am unable to legally continue serving them, once they cross into another state, their care is disruptive. We are thereby causing harm. That interruption can mean setbacks in their progress, unnecessary stress, or even a crisis. But beyond my practice, this is about Floridians and their ability to maintain continuity of care without interruption. It is about creating reliable pathways to qualified providers, whether a client is a veteran moving between duty stations, a college student studying in another state, or a retiree who spends part of the year outside of Florida. The compact ensures that people can stay connected to the professional support they need, regardless of geographic boundaries. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Next, we have Sarah Johnston, Community Clay Connections, Executive Director. You're recognized.
Hello, thank you, Mr. Chair and delegation, for your time and services. My name is Sarah Johnston. I'm the Executive Director and founder of Community Clay Connections. We are an arts nonprofit, and our mission is to bring in clay-based art classes that focus on mindfulness and increase emotional and mental health. We help people and connect themselves to each other and themselves. We serve people that are financially insecure or emotionally, physically, or regionally isolated in the Seminole, Orange, Osceola, and Lake County. We're a mobile program so that our population can be served. We go to them. We're currently in our third week of a year-long Mindful Clay residency at the Academy of Lake Hills South, which is an alternative public school in Lake County School District. They focus on providing a compassionate and structured educational setting to help students' social and developmental emotional skills so that they can be set up for success to go into public schools. With the financial support of the United Arts of Central Florida and the Lake County Education Foundation, we are bringing clay-based art classes to their students weekly for the 25-26 school year. This residency is the result of a 3-month pilot program at the Academy of Lake Hills South. This was funded through United Arts of Central Florida during the spring of 2025. They created meditation bowls while learning about meditation. They created hype mirrors while learning about the importance of positive self-talk. And then they also learned about gratitude by making gratitude bowls. All of these projects gave them the opportunity to create art with clay while learning communication and emotional regulation skills that will help them be successful in life. One example of this was during the Hype Mirror project. Students were asked to think of a supportive phrase that they wish somebody had said to them or did say to them. One student shared they wished their dad would have told them they were proud of them. This student decided to put that phrase, "I'm proud of you, son," on their mirror. That way they could look at it daily, empower themselves, and build their own confidence when that didn't happen in the home. Our programming is one example of how the United Arts of Central Florida has supported local arts organizations. They make art accessible to everyone so that we can all receive the benefits of a world filled with creativity and expression. In 2024, they impacted over 6,000 students with over $360,000 in funding to Lake County alone. As you've heard from our experience, the impact of art funding through United Arts of Central Florida has profoundly affected the lives of the students and staff at this school. Community Clay Connections has grown as an organization, and we are grateful for the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Christine Getz from the Villages constituent. You're recognized.
Thank you. Senator Trudeau, Representatives Cobb, Gentry, and Yarkowski, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm from the Villages. I'm here to urge you to support efforts for Florida to join the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. Florida's current winner-take-all law, along with similar laws, create battleground states that have more attention from candidates and have a higher turnout. In all but 2 states, all electoral votes go to candidates with the majority of votes. That means the minority votes are sent forward as if they voted with the majority. The National Popular Vote Interstate Compact awards its electoral votes to the U.S. candidate who wins the national popular vote instead of the popular vote of just that state. Presidential winners have averaged 4 million vote leads in the popular vote over the last 9 elections, which reduces, if not eliminates, controversy over who would win with the national popular vote. The president is the only elected official not elected by a popular vote. According to a September 2023 Pew Research poll, 65% of American adults say the winner of the popular vote nationwide is the person who should be elected president. A state's political identity includes all of its citizens, not just those who vote with the majority. Every vote should be equal and relevant in every election. That's the will of the people. Once bills are filed, please co-sponsor and support. And thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and thank you for your hard work for the community.
Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Jane Hepting, Eustis constituent. You are recognized.
Good day to you, and thank you for your service to our state. My name is Jane Hepting, and I'm a resident of Lake County. I wish to speak today on a very urgent matter, climate change. To prepare for today, I reviewed information published by the East Central Florida Regional Planning Council and the Florida Climate Institute. The science is clear. Greenhouse gas emissions are making Florida hotter. This results in more severe storms, more wind damage, more flooding. Higher temperatures result in water evaporation and droughts, hurting our food production. The economic cost of ignoring climate change is huge. Heat-related issues result in more emergency room visits and hospitalizations in Florida than anywhere else in the United States. Hurricane Milton caused over $34 billion in property damage in Florida. In the 8 counties of East Central Florida, the potential flood risk to buildings is estimated to be $10.3 billion. It is not surprising that our property insurance rates have increased 40% since 2022. Clearly, Florida cannot afford rising temperatures. The state of Florida can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by requiring our utility companies to use clean energy, by providing consumers with incentives to use solar power and energy-efficient appliances, and to supply more, and by supplying more charging stations for electric vehicles. The state needs to adopt a plan with meaningful goals, timelines, and reporting requirements. Sadly, in this past Florida legislative session, a bill to set emission reduction goals, just setting goals, that died in committee. As you know, our federal government in the last 8 months has reduced its commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Our state, which is so vulnerable to severe storms, needs to step up to the plate and protect our economy and our citizens by taking immediate steps to combat climate change and make our state more resilient. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Ed Hula from Mount Dora. You're recognized.
Thank you, and still good morning. Representative Cobb,
For a minute.
Senator Gentry, Representative Yurkowski, Senator Trudeau. I come to you as a citizen of Mount Dora. My name's Ed Hula. 57 years of voting in presidential elections, many years covering elections as a journalist, and then more recently as a poll worker, poll watcher including the very controversial elections in Georgia in 2020. Voting is a sacred right for us in the United States, and how we cast our vote should not take away that right. I'm urging you to reject legislation that curtails voting by mail. For millions of Americans, voting by mail is the only way to do it, and that includes members of our active duty armed forces. Here in Lake County, it's really important. In the general election last year, more than 43,000 people cast absentee ballots, 19% of the Lake County total turnout of 230,000. It's also been carefully administered. It seems to escape any kind of scandal so far. Even President Trump voted by mail last year, despite his claims that it might lead to corruption. A second election concern I want to mention is the move to redistrict Florida ahead of the 2026 midterm election. Texas has set a bad precedent by leading the way in the scheme that California is going to try to duplicate, and we'll see a domino effect, I think, across the country. It erodes confidence and understanding of people in the election process, and I urge you to reject that. Such a remap of Florida will cost millions. There will be plenty of court challenges, better things to do with taxpayer money than a midterm reapportionment. And back in Lake County, if you must reapportion, could you make things better by including the whole county in one district, not two as currently the case with the 11th and the 6th? My district, the 6th, stretches from a western boundary near my home in Mount Dora through Volusia County to Daytona Beach, 60 miles away. Such a district makes us susceptible to poor representation, and the past year has not been good. First, Mike Waltz was elected to the seat last November and then went to work for President Trump, resigning shortly after taking office this year. His successor, Randy Fine, lives well outside the district in Melbourne Beach. He is like a ghost to us, although he has opened an office in Eustis. If you must redistrict, please give Mr. Fine the opportunity to run for Congress from a district more convenient to his home. Keep this man away from Lake County. Give us Daniel Webster, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Anita Killian, Justice Transitions. Excuse me. You're recognized.
Thank you. I'm Anita Killen, and I'm from Orange County, but for the last 15 years, I've been working with families throughout the state of Florida that have youthful offenders or adolescents that have been placed or that were charged with a sexual offense and placed on the sex offense registry. I'm here to ask that you consider a rational pathway for removal from the sex offense registry for juveniles, youthful offenders, and young adults. Youthful offender is a special legal status within the criminal justice system granted by a judge. In Florida, a youthful offender is under the age of 21 with no previous criminal behavior. This designation indicates that the judge recognized the unique needs and vulnerabilities of the young offender. The designation aims to balance accountability with rehabilitation, while also protecting their future opportunities. A judge granted that to them. In Florida, the maximum sentence for a youthful offender is 6 years probation. But if a young person is placed on the sex offense registry, they have to wait 25 years after they complete the probation to even go to a judge and petition to be removed. 25 years. So think about that. If you have an 18, 19-year-old youthful offender, first time and only offense, made a mistake, is remorseful, psychologically tests as having a less than 1% chance of reoffending. They finish their probation period at somewhere around age 25, no violations, yet they have to wait until they are 50 years old or older to even petition the court to be removed for something that, in generally, is an action of immaturity and not an action with criminal intent. And what happens in those 25 years in that waiting period? Well, they're required to follow numerous restrictions. And one misstep, like missing a registration appointment, forgetting to report a vehicle, or staying one extra day at a temporary address, these are all third-degree felonies that can lead to incarceration, far beyond the 6 years probation that the judge granted to them. So a judge gave them the opportunity at age 18, 19 years old to address the underlying causes of their delinquent behavior. But lifetime placement on the registry denies them of any opportunity to prove that they're no risk. They're not reoffending. They're trying to be productive citizens. Now, I want you to think about your life and all that you've been able to accomplish since the age of 25. All the opportunities that you have had, and maybe even some mistakes that were made along the way, you had the opportunity to correct. And these are the low-risk young individuals that I'm talking about that deserve the same opportunity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here. Next, we have Kim White from Mount Dora constituent. Good morning. You're recognized. Oh, yeah, it is. Huh?
I'm Kim White. I live in Mount Dora. I am going to speak about an ombudsman bill for the Department of Corrections. Right now, you legislators are the only people that staff and incarcerated people can contact if there's a problem within the Department of Corrections. And I know you receive lots of calls regarding problems from both staff, family members, and the incarcerated. We need an independent oversight bill so people have another avenue to reach out when there are problems for staff and incarcerated due to the retaliation they can face for reporting things. An ombudsman bill for prisons is needed to provide independent oversight and address the systematic problems of abuse, neglect, and lack of accountability that exist within the Florida correctional facilities for staff and incarcerated alike. By establishing an independent office, an ombudsman office can investigate grievances and work to ensure the safety, health, and rights of the incarcerated and staff. Right now, they both have only one resource, which is the Office of Inspector General, which is governed by, guess who? The Department of Corrections. The Office of Inspector General reports the complaint right back to the facility where the problem originated. This can cause retaliation on the staff or the incarcerated person, whomever made the complaint. We cannot have a state entity govern itself. It has lost all oversight. We need to ensure the Ombudsman Office is fully independent of the Department of Corrections. Let's stop the retaliation on staff and incarcerated and get this needed bill through the legislative office. And I know you all know that 76% of our prisons do not have air conditioning. Last week, I went to UCF and attended their prison pod experience, and UCF would not allow their students to enter the pod due to the liability being in that heat presented to their students. I also want to tell you a quick story since I still have 30 seconds. My son, whom you all know, is incarcerated for DUI manslaughter. He needs to be, punished. But he was at a prison standing with a man several weeks ago under the poorly working exhaust fan, a man who was probably in his 50s. And the man said to a passing officer, "If you don't get me out of this heat, I am going to die." The next morning, that man was dead. And they passed it off to his heart condition. And we all know the heat exasperates that. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Next, we have Linda Coffin, Orlando constituent.
Hi,
I know, Senator Trudeau, you're saying not you again.
No.
But it is me again. And one reason I'm excited to be here is because of the conversation that we just had the other day. I felt like you gave some great input into the conflict resolution bill that we want to pass. So I want the others of you to know that when our soon-to-be elected Senator LaVon Bracy Davis is elected and Rashawn Young is going to be the new rep, that they're going to put forward this conflict resolution bill to be passed in the schools. It's not a partisan bill because when it does get heard in the committees, it gets all yeses. And what we basically want to do is to reduce the violence in our schools and communities by teaching our students how to express their emotions and needs constructively, and as your recommendation, to learn how to de-escalate a situation. So when this bill is heard, please pass it this year. The next thing that we talked about, I'm a little concerned about because I just was listening. There was another mass shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. The children were en masse. This is just the second day of school, and a gunman with a rifle shot through the windows. I just listened. It does sound like he was in his young 20s, but I do think we definitely need to consider people whose brains have not developed yet and don't have the great parents, as Senator Trudeau, who make sure that they get proper training before they purchase their rifles. That we don't want to have these mass shootings anymore or community shootings. We know that firearms of the Constitution times are not firearms of today. We have seen how quickly one bad decision can turn into a tragic situation. We also know that now that it's going to the Supreme Court, and it may not be a decision that you make, but hopefully it will not go through the Florida Supreme Court and will come back to you, and you'll have a chance to vote no on lowering the age. Lastly, we talked about, I'm part of a faith coalition of Immigrants Are Welcome Here. This has been one of the most difficult times in our lives. We are not just deporting hardened criminals like they're telling us in the public news. And I know this because I've met many mothers and fathers who have been deported, and I've talked to their children who were left behind. People who have lived here for 20 years, doing everything they're supposed to do, paying taxes and trying to become a citizen, are being deported. Let's make sure that we give people the due process that all Americans and people in America deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next, we have Cheryl Pavlaka. Is that pronounced right?
You got it right, Senator.
Wow. You're recognized.
Thank you. Good afternoon, legislative delegation. I am Cheryl Pavlaka, and I'm a Mineola resident, representing myself, no one else. And my number one on the list I can't talk about, and that's repeal SB 180 and put the responsibility back in the hands of the county municipalities, because Representative Gentry and 5 other speakers have already spoken about it, so I think that one's covered. The second one is near and dear to my heart because the last election cycle, I saw something as I started researching it. I saw some things on Facebook by one of our Mineola residents, Nathan Fausch, and it's about restoring the PC cap contribution limits. And without limits, it's actually money laundering. This PC can move it to this PC, can move it to that. You never know who the real donors are. It's also surprising how much out-of-state money influence there is, especially in our primary elections. Most of the hate mail flyers received were from out-of-state PCs. In fact, I saved them all. And Nathan Fausch and I have been collaborating on this, so please consider that, restoring those PC cap contribution limits. The last one is something that I spoke when our new Lieutenant Governor came to our Lake GOP meeting, and I think might be near and dear to Senator Trudeau's concept of agricultural land conservation,
is I think you should consider legislation to take back some of the land in Florida that Chinese and other investors have acquired. I know the state of Missouri is trying to do that right now. Maybe this can be done in unique taxation, kind of like tariffs maybe, that if it's not owned by Floridians, we need to tax them more. That would help our tax base, and maybe they'd offer to sell it back to us. That's all I have. Thank you very much for your time and your dedication to listening to your constituents.
Thank you for being here. Next, we have Cindy Newton. You are recognized.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And thank you also for the commitment to work on SB 180. Also for reaching out to our local governments entities to get their input on what changes they'd like to see. Please know there are organizations and your constituents who are also able and willing to support the effort to repeal part or all of SB 180. One area which has been a common point of concern that has not been brought forth through the media is the factor with the lawsuits. Section 18 allows any person to sue to enforce the prohibitions. This is an extremely broad standing. The law requires a pre-suit notice to the local government, but then the local government only has 14 days in order to revoke or declare the challenged action void, which is a period of time impossible to meet with the statutory requirements for notification and 2 readings with minimum separation of time between the 2 readings for amendments, excuse me, to revoke comprehension plan amendments or amendments to the land development regulations. So let's work together to protect our local governments and our citizens by restoring home rule in SB 180, as well as other past and future legislation. So thank you, and remember your constituents are also in this process. There is a strong resolve among us also to repair the damage of this bill. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Catherine Dijon. You are recognized.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Catherine DeYoung, and I am a Lake County resident. I would like you to consider that support comes from unlikely places, especially in times of need. This was most recently illustrated on a state level when people learned of the misguided plan to build resorts and golf courses in our state parks. I can't remember the last time I've seen that level of cooperation in our state legislature when parties from all sides came together to stop that plan. And I was proud of that moment because it reflects on our nation's history, our nation's proud history of uniting in times of need. Former history teacher here. That issue demonstrated that Florida residents and visitors care about our green spaces and our natural resources. At the county level, consultants from Kimley Horn recently conducted a survey in preparation for writing our new comprehensive plan. Results showed an overwhelming concern about overdevelopment and protection of our green spaces. Further evidence of this concern was demonstrated by Lake County voters when they chose to tax themselves to fund a land conservation and parks and trails program. So I'm asking you that when you get back to Tallahassee, to reach across the aisle to work to restore funding the Florida Forever Wildlife Corridor because it had a significant amount of dollars cut from the program during the budget process. We need that. And to modify, work to compromise, to modify Senate Bill 180. I mean, the ideas that went into that were valid, the concerns are real, but I think what came out of it were some unintended consequences. Allow local governments to guide development within their own communities. So thank you for everything you do, and I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Next, we have Simon Adams. You're recognized.
Thank you and good afternoon, delegation. I am Simon Adams and I am here as a member of Equal Ground, a Black-led nonpartisan voting rights organization working to bring civic education and participation for each county in Florida. Today, I stand before you with deep empathy for the future of Florida and the communities most impacted by the decisions we make in the legislative session. Democracy only works when all constituents are represented equally in our elections. This is why I want to be very clear about our main message. We urge you to stand firmly against any mid-decade census redrawing of districts. Any rash effort to expedite these processes is a blatant attempt to undermine democracy and silence voters. Floridians overwhelmingly passed the Fair District Amendment to ensure fairness, accountability, and transparency in redistricting. These laws must be respected. To ignore them is to ignore the will of the people. We also urge you to reject any attempt to redo the census before 2030. Instead, the focus should be on preparing for a complete and accurate count in 2030 so that all of our communities are counted and represented the way they deserve to be. At Equal Ground, we fight for more than fair maps. We fight for the issues that strengthen Florida's future, protecting democracy, ensuring affordability, protecting our environment, access to health care, sustaining public education, and passing equitable laws. These are the priorities Floridians want to be addressed in the next legislative session, not unnecessary political battles. We also stress the importance of accessibility. We ask that you make yourselves available to meet with your constituents year-round, not just in delegation meetings. Let me close by saying this. We welcome the opportunity to meet with you and engage on the issues that matter most to us. Our communities are watching, and we will continue to hold you accountable to the people you serve. Thank you, delegation, for your time, and thank you for the constituents who showed up today. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Next, we have Rick Carlins. You're recognized.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I would like to just express my deep concerns with regards to the election process. Currently, we have an opportunity with the president is wanting to have a single-day voting, watermarked paper ballots, eliminating the machines, and also the mail-in ballot system. It just puts us back a couple of decades with regards to the way that we do business. And it is, as I said, citizens only. But it's an opportunity for people to go out and do their due diligence and perform their duty to vote. I'm 73 years old, and I'm a senior citizen as well. And, I've heard that want to keep the mail-in ballots for convenience and so forth. But we have to put forth some effort. But we do need to secure the election, and we need to do that here in Florida as well. There have been many complaints, and and I speak for many, many people that do have a distrust for the way that things are happening. Generally, I believe that the voting community has at least apathy. They are not real convinced that the elections do matter. It seems to me that, big businesses are being represented more so than the working man who funds everything. Those that work are the ones that are paying everything because government does not generate any money, none. You have to extract it. So I'm just asking that the last session, there were some voter integrity bills that were in committee but never moved out of committee. And there are going to be some bills that are brought there. And I was up there last year trying to find sponsors for the bills, and I'll be up there again. And I would encourage you to look at this. And just a single-day voting, citizens only, paper ballots, smaller precincts would do everything to fix our election system. So with that, I'm all through. Thank you. Oh, no, one other thing. And when something is passed, I would like to see it enforced. For example, SB 56, which outlawed geoengineering above the state of Florida. I'm strongly in favor of that. It passed. It went into law July the 1st, and there are still chemical trails being left in the skies. You could see it all the time. I saw them this morning. Some days they're not there, but others they are. There's no difference. So it needs to be stopped.
Thank you for being here.
Yep.
Next up is Daryl Parrott. Is that right? Parrott. And we did hear about this a couple times today, so.
I'm sorry?
I said this issue was brought up several times.
Yeah.
Prior.
Well, first off, I want to thank all of you that voted for the ending of Florida's free kill. You, along with 93% of your lawmakers, realize that this is wrong. Florida Medical Rights Association should bring us here. I've now started End Florida Free Kill, which is a PAC that I'm raising funds for, and to educate Florida citizens about when they might lose their rights and when they might gain their rights. I myself lost my rights to medical protection when my youngest child turned 25. I got it back when I got married. I don't think anybody in Florida realizes that this law exists until you become a victim, which my son did. This issue's not going away. This issue's been on every single news broadcast in every single market in the state of Florida. I personally spent $20,000 last year. I'm going to spend that much more easily this year. This issue needs to be fixed. Either you believe what we all said here and stood up and said the Pledge of Allegiance, liberty and justice for all, or you don't. Fix this issue. The easiest way to do that is before this session starts, is to override Mr. DeSantis' veto. Otherwise, it's going to get worse and worse. And I don't want to see this on national broadcast. But it's going that way, guys. It is going to be on CNN. It's going to be on national broadcast. And it's not going to look good for us, the medical establishment, or our lawmakers. Please repeal Florida's free kill, HB 617.
Thank you for being here. All right, well, we have made it through all the folks that wanted to speak today. I want to give an opportunity to our representatives here if they have any closing comments. Representative Cobb, would you like to kick that off?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I know most people have left, but those who remained, thank you again for coming here and sharing with us your concerns. In case anyone was still here, we do work 7 days a week. My office is always open. Email's always available 24/7, 7 days a week. So we are here. So we work more than just the delegation meeting. We work more than just Tallahassee. So please feel free to email and set up an appointment. All right? I look forward to serving you in this next session, and I thank you for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Representative Gentry.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of things here today, some multiple times, and I don't want anybody out there to think that either I or the other members of this delegation will feel that this is the last that we'll be talking about this. We're coming away with a lot of good comments, and I think we're all going to be giving it some thought, and we'll be reaching out to some folks.
Good deal. Representative Yarkowski.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you all for coming out and engaging, and I say it every time you come up there to see us. We can't fix it if we don't know about it, and I learned something from every single engagement, no matter how simple you might think it is, and every one of them matter to us. Seriously, Rep. Cobb talks about constituent services. She's definitely inspired us, and I have the best with Amanda over here, as you all know. But that's what it's all about. It's connecting with you. The policy takes care of itself if you understand your people and the needs of those folks. And that's not just from conservatives. It's from everyone. I represent every single person in this county, certainly in District 25. So thank you for being here. It matters to us. We don't just say that as an anecdote. We mean it. So God bless you, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Taylor. And you know, you're still trying to steal the show here. I have the best staff. I mean, come on. The staff is, in this delegation, you have a strong group of people that are serving constituent issues. And, you know, we don't take it lightly. When I was interviewing my folks before I got started, you know, there was some ground rules and, you know, a lot of things that I believe in. I want to make sure that they understand that we want to emphasize on those things and work hard to make sure that we get that across the finish line. So we have a great staff in this delegation that works on these issues for all of us, and I'm proud, and I'm happy that we had a pretty smooth delegation meeting here today, and everyone was you know, positive in nature and getting the issues across, you know, without too much opposition or effort. I mean, that's what we're all about. We all want our voices heard, and we want that in a positive way. So we look forward to getting to work at committees weeks coming up, a little about 5 weeks away, something like that. So it's not far off. Our little bit of time off, if you want to call it time off, is about to come to an end. But you know, we look forward to it. Looking forward to working on the budget this year and working on the issues that matter to us and bringing things back to Lake County that matter. I think we've done a pretty good job with that, and we'll continue that. So, again, thank all of y'all for coming today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So, thank you, and God bless you.